because it's an investment for him. Like like what happened with it is.
And under Tricom control, UK, and the read forward the story from The Guardian, February 10th. BBC World Service faces funding cliff edge in 7 weeks, says Tim Davies.
Backtesting in a psychotic EA that was written by ChatGPT before I broke up with it because it was giving me bad info on gear, bad specs, and I told it, just who the fuck do you think you are? And it went into a big apology tour telling me how oh, I'm sorry, I've heard a lot of complaints like that. I'm like, you're damn straight, bitch. This is the best fucking site. This is Barney's website out of Bedford, England. Look at all the tweaking shit on here. Look at the filters on here. Shit's free. I just like the sound of the airwaves. Thomas Dolby in the airwaves. We've even got a squelch on here. You could even record it if you want. Look at this shit. It's fucking nuts. Squelch. I like that. So it just cuts it out. It's a gate. It's really a gate, but they don't want to say that. The electric eye. Brightness. Contrast. This notch filter shit. Noise reduction. It's not Dolby. Look at that. It cuts it back a little bit. It's Dolby B. I got on here once and listened to a couple guys with ham radios get into a fight, threaten each other. That's hilarious. Let's see, where are we on this dial? Here's the ham radio guys up in here, but I think they're speaking Cockney or some shit. Who knows? I was listening to a political discussion, but I lost track of it. Probably got a copyright violation. Man, these Brits went on forever. Like a real radio. Of course, everything's broadcast, I think. Real radio show. Okay. So I put my call in here. Put my Discord link in the channel here. I posted this robot I'm testing. So ChatGPT wrote this thing, and if you look at the top, it says, I like this. I prompted the robot to give me this insane this is the most insane robot I've ever seen. Based on buy low, sell high theory. And you see in the chart here, it's playing back. I got about, okay, this one here is called Max A. But I haven't compiled this one yet. But basically the settings go like this. You have how many active orders? Now this is the biggest factor affecting the performance of this robot, this setting here. So I posted this robot in the Discord link under forex. I've done about 2,000 tests. Let me see, probably like 4,000 different settings. Not on this robot. This robot probably done about 200 different settings. Usually I'll write the name of the robot. Right now it's just Max A because it's a format of a concept. It goes like this. How many orders are you going to run? Now the scaling factor, I think you might be able to change this so that you could run the tickets deeper, but I'm not sure. Just something that I had, the AI did that for me because I mentioned something about, can I change the, and it might have been so that it triggers the ATR in a particular way. So it starts trading at 1, which is about 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it gets done trading at 4 p.m. Next thing is, and this is the most critical factor, which I do not do, and this is why I'm going to run EAs on some stuff, because, now mind you, this is one EA. What you need is about 10 versions of this running constantly to exploit the scenarios and situations that it's designed to capture. And so it's about time and price and depth of market. So how deep is the order? How long does it last? How big is the size? So you want to have diversification of size. Here, this robot trades a 1K, 2K, 3K, all the way up to a 20K because there's 20 trade blocks that it's going to launch. Running right now, it's a 50 pip stop. It says 500, but fifth decimal broker. So you have to take that into consideration. So this is basically an RSI filtered unit. So I have this thing, it's set RSI to 2. Now the reason it's set to 2 is because binary. If it goes up, it's selling. If it goes down, it's buying. You can see on this playback how ridiculously dramatic. I have max zoom in there, so it's on the 4-hour chart. So this is not a high frequency trader, but this is a set and forget it. And it's placing orders. Now right now, the only problem with this robot, if you want, it's so elaborate. You know. So the overbought oversold filter is set at 90-10 with a 2 RSI. And you can turn this off if you want and test it with false, which it wouldn't even look at that. But if you do that, it's going to put 40 tickets in instead of 20. Because it'll just trade both sides. See here where it come in the bottom. So this is by low sell high bot. By, the trigger, like I said, RSI has to go pretty hard. And I'm not sure how I have it set actually. But like this, I've done so many versions of this, I can't even tell you. Where I inverted the RSI and I said, if it's overbought, put buy limits in. If it's oversold, put sell limits in. In other words, anticipating the pullback. It's already climaxed the oscillator. Now we're waiting for this latest pullback. Now those will be very shallow tickets because you're looking to get in. But as you can see here, this thing's loading the fucking wagon here. Now it doesn't always work out because it's about the trailing stop versus the entry delta. So then every ticket has these inputs and configurations. So you basically have a magic number for each fucking order. So it's pretty like I said, I was spending $20 a month on this AI bitch. So I said, hey baby, you gotta do dishes, you gotta clean the car, yeah, you're gonna work. Look at how it's loading the wagon here. Now the robot eventually blows this account up, just to let you know. Spoiler alert. But it's kind of the answer in a way. Why is that telling me? I forgot to put the Discord link in. I gotta go by rant. I gotta rant a little more before I'm actually playing this back just to get her done. In control points, a very crude method based upon nearest less time frame results cannot be considered. Yeah, they can. This is a very static bot. There's nothing here because if you run every tick, it's the same results. So this is a real time saver because it's a single core event. Even if you have you have a very fast computer on a single core, speed has to be very fast because MT4 is a crude, old-fashioned, good old-fashioned fucking 386 program. You gotta love that. None of this fucking bullshit. I was looking at that MT5. I was pissed off already with that fucking graphics shell where you drag the fuck that shit. Give me this hardcore fucking thing that looks like a goddamn piece of the goddamn computer. I said this floating shit on there. If I see one more fucking web trader, when I saw that shit, I'll never forget that. When forex started, there was a company that did charting, and you had to pay like $40 a month. It was slick charting, but it was all web-based shit floating around your screen. You couldn't lock it. I don't know. Anyways, I'm done complaining. So here we're running this thing fast, and I'm going back to 2025. It's only going back a year. It is a 4-hour chart. Now this will trade like shorter time frames. Look how it gets in heavy here. It martingales in. It kind of climbs out of it. Only based on the trailing stop. So each trade block, I know I bounce around, but you deal with it. So, by the way, I had a car in 1972. Okay, now, so here, there's a lot of shit going on here. This is the size here, 1K. And what I did here is I indented that because I've done a lot of edits, and when you edit fast, you want to have the size on the outside. So I decided to go with progressive size. It adds one every time down. The expiration is static here. Every ticket is 2 hours on this whole robot. So you understand, you could run a robot that runs 4 hours straight down, or would you do progressive time as you go down in these 20 blocks? This would be longer. You could make it longer by 5 minutes. And as it goes deeper, let's see, it gets to a 20K here. Now, these stop losses, this is a very crude robot. And the original settings I posted, I think this is what I posted. The only thing, I adjusted the RSI at the top of this. But this is a 40 pip stop to make 100 pips, all day long. The delta is the key. How deep are you getting in? So first thing it's going to be is magic number if you care about it. The ATR is different for every order block. The amount, the increase, this way, even though there's a master RSI saying you will do this when this happens, each block has its own discrete period and increase of ATR. That's the average trading range. And I picked that because it's a volatility thing. And when it gets crazy, and I don't really know, I mean, these settings are just, oh my God, they're just random. So notice this one. This has an ATR period of 18 with an increase of 6. And I don't even know what that means. And I put them in crazy different so that hopefully some of these order blocks will not be placed unless that criteria is met. But I haven't examined if that's happening. A couple times ChatGPT wrote the robot in a way that it did not affect, these settings didn't affect anything. Maybe RSI was overriding the ATR, and I had a ATR trailing stop added onto one of these, and what it did there was it gave you this kind of a, giving the market some room when the market got crazy, and that robot would make more money because it would say, oh, well, market's on fire, widen it, where this is a hard 50 pip stop. So what is the scenario for the robot too? This is just showing you that you've got these elements that you can put the settings on. But the magic's in the settings. How deep are these grids? Now, right now, these grids are... so the delta is a very big deal. So that's why it's sitting out on the edge here. This is a 5 pip. Every 5 pips, it's going to put in. So this grid, these are 5 pips apart. Pretty tight. The expiration's a little bit maybe too short to actually capture the drama, and I'm also on the I'm on the yen, so I am looking for the drama. Oops. Here, I'm just going to run it without the visual. So you can do a very fast back test of this. And here it is, just graph only. So see, it's on a 4-hour chart. If you had the patience, now here it's going to get killed. I think it blows it up eventually. But it actually does pretty good until it blows up, as you would imagine. Spider coming after me off the ceiling. So here, it's going to blow it up, see? It gets in too heavy. And let me just compile this one. So what I do is I usually keep compiling different versions until I get what I like, and then I create a name for it. So here, this is only 120 minutes for every ticket going down all the way to Memphis. I think the delta goes all the way to, wow, 110 pips. 115 pips down. This is like every 5 pips, 20 blocks, starting at 20 pips deep. Now it's testing the what is this? Wait, what did it change here? Okay, we're going to go for the 1 hour chart. Now this will be way more high frequency trading. All right. So this is a little bit more what I would do as a 1 hour chart, because then I want to go through the 4 hour stuff. Also, this robot will trade really good on the 15. I mean, this idea of getting in like this. So now this running streak here, very nice, but then it's going to get a little bit hammered. And that has to do with my delta being so. Now here, you know, if I was watching this robot trade, I'd say right there, buddy, stop. But see, it's going to blow itself up. But right here, the thing equalizes, the equity's up. You're actually in profits holding on to a big. Now here's maxing out. So that means it's getting in. The market happens to be dropping so fast that it's bottoming out. I kind of know what it's doing. It's maxing, and it's going to blow up. And that's because it's on the yen. So I would take this over to the euro and test it. And maybe it's going to undertrade, not actually make too much money now, but you know, it's the kind of the trade-off. It looks like it didn't do anything here. Okay, so it has this nice winning streak, but then it blows up. It's maxing out, right? So I would take back and say, well, you're only allowed to trade 10 tickets, dude. You're over trading, and this is the setting. So this is a concept, a crude bot. Runs. It's simple. I'm gonna have to mess with that ATR or eliminate it. I actually had it. I had the AR write a version where inside of here, instead of ATR, it was using Williams percent R, which was more sensitive, more what I'm doing actually. I'm looking for the extremes in the market to get in on the edge and come back to the center fair value, or any kind of retracement, but certainly entering on limits. Okay, so I took it down to just trade 10 tickets, don't fucking bet the ranch setting, and then I was trying to remember here, it did 2,180 tickets and blew up. It had a nice winning streak there where you basically took a $10,000 account, got it up to about 12 grand, took a drawdown here, loaded hard here, got into some crazy shit, and then went north. Okay, let me retest that, run that test again. If it says start, then the whole thing blew up. So here I said you're only allowed to trade 10 tickets. Now maybe it undertrades the market. So the balance point between it looks like it overtraded it. So that's the funny thing about that setting, is that it didn't trade enough. Oh wait, did I set that? No, I didn't change it. Sorry. That it doesn't trade enough. It can't recover and build back on that plunge theory. Like some max say we're running. So just trade me 10 tickets. So I'm not gonna it should redo that. It was 2180 tickets. It shouldn't be that many tickets now. It should definitely be less. But maybe you can't dig out now. Okay, so it didn't blow up here. It got to 21 grand because the amount of tickets being the most key, the key factor. With all three people watching. Here, let me put the link to the Discord in there. It's a very small minority that care about testing in EA. Trust and believe. When they talk about the 1%. Well, the point infinity micro percent. All right, let me see here. You know, share this. Okay. Okay. Get to my channel here. Try not to blow it up. Okay. Man, technology. I never thought I'd be clicking on this bullshit. Anyways, so see, it's a little safer here on the 1 hour chart. Same robot, 1 hour chart. Look at it. So it survived. It didn't blow up. It made it all. It doubled the account. So when I see that, I want to watch a trade now. So I go to visual mode. Oh, let me do every tick. Just to show you. So it actually did more trades because you're able to unwind the positions. At 10 tickets, 10 maximum tickets, it's such a critical thing because, you know, at 50, it might overload the wagon. So 10, you got to get that Goldilocks sizing. Here, 42.06, if I retest it, 42.06. I'll do it on every tick now. Just takes longer. It teaches patience. I don't know if that's even possible. Okay, now we're testing every tick on this robot. I'm going to put a link to the, if you go into the Discord, I don't know if that link gets you into the whole Discord, but under forex, I put this robot in a zip file called maxa. Okay, so it has actually, because of the order blocks, it's getting in 5 pips apart. It's martingale-ing in, so to speak. It's getting into a 20K. When it maxes out and the market plunges 100 pips, which is, you know, I could put these deltas for entry on every order block. There's 20 order blocks, buy and sell, triggered with a 2-period RSI set at 90, 80 at the top of the bot. So the master settings, did I say that? Okay. I just can't say slave. Okay, gotcha. YouTube's got a lot of fucking filters. So here is the master config. This is what drives the whole robot. You got this. You got the time. And it's called multi-AR. I had this written by ChatGPT, I think, wrote this one. Yeah, multi-config ATR 20 blocks, 20 order blocks. I haven't monkeyed with, so this is a little bit too passive for me, this ATR. So I may have to, sign back up with ChatGPT and have it, or have maybe his Google Gemini do an edit to this, because I'd rather have Williams percent R in each block and RSI as a master filter to create binary buy and sell situations. It's every tick. I guess we blew it up. So that failed the every tick test. Here, I'm going to do open prices. I don't know. Every tick to me, this is open prices. See, it finished off like break even. But look at different behavior. Could do with the ATR. Now, the trailing stop, like this is a crazy. This is a hard stop on every block. 40 to make. Oh, wait, here's 40 to make 80 pips. So this is kind of the exception. I should set that to 1,000, but it's a lot of work. When you do the settings, you have to set each block how you want it. But you have basically 20 robots in one, under one master filter. This way. For this buy low, sell high system. Now, if I give a little more room there on the stop, and the initial stop is 40, kind of tight. If I make these 1,000 break even, 100 to make 100. Let me just set it to 100 to make 100. And the stop is the trailing stop's 50. So it kind of becomes, as soon as it starts moving your direction, it's going to start managing. Just on this one particular robot, you probably have to run about 10 to 20 robots. And maybe some robots, if you set them really deep, like you have a deep bot and a shallow bot, you see the deep bot, it's not going to trade as much. And maybe the frequency of the shallow bot, you have to pick the right depth for the currency you're trading, the instrument you're trading. On NASDAQ, I was looking at that today. Now that's crazy deep. The pip spacing is just beyond, right? I believe it is. Yeah. What the fuck is that? So that's strategy tester playing back in MT4 platform. I'm going to set this thing to control. I'm going to go for the 15-minute chart and see the same robot running, trade robot. Performance, non-visual. I just want to see the stats. Oh, total crash. So it's crashing now. Okay, now it's picking up because it got filled on these deep. This is a 15-minute chart now. It should trade different. And it's bottoming out here. So the delta needs to be deeper. It's getting too many. It must be a news event. Also, I don't know what the limit for these robots to test. The data, it's kind of sketchy. I'm not sure what it's actually looking at because I've changed the times. Now it's done trading, but it cleared a few bucks there. Just try every tick to see if it's any different. I'm going to set this to 100 pips to make 100 pips. So break even with a trailing stop of 50 just to keep things simple. Okay, I see a problem. This last ticket's set to 240 minutes. That's why it's blowing up. That's a problem. So this is what's happening. That's why I kept riveting that bottom ticket. So that's not fair. This is not. So these kind of mistakes. I'm trying to make these robots kind of smooth trading. It's not going to work. So we're going to go for the fastest control center. Same robot. Now we'll get less of that pounding fill of that 20K. But I'm gonna give it a nice wide stop now. So I put an 80 pip stop to make 100, and just to go over the entry, it's buying 20 pips deep, all the way 100 pips deep, 5 pips apart. So I'm just going to compile that. It's still overfilled this deep shit, so that's a rewrite, Rona. If it stops writing it, the buffer's probably filled up. Every time I rewrite the settings, it should affect the trading. We put a big wide stop on there so we can absorb more of the crush and survive some of the initial drama. And the market comes down, the trailing stop comes in at 50. Still got the 100 pip winner, so the ratio is good on the initial. That's not the best, but then it trails decent. Okay, it's not getting in enough. So I'm going to kind of max it out here and take the time up to 240 minutes. So it'll be a 2-hour robot. See if I can get more trading out of it. I went from 2 hours to 4 hours. So it should trade about 1,000 tickets. Maybe 1,500 tickets. It only traded 516 tickets. That's a 15-minute chart, though. So the time frame is sensitive. This robot will trade each time frame different because it's looking for that, how deep the market's going to go. Now, this is 4 hours of exposure to a bunch of tickets. So we just going to see a lot more trading or blow it up. Oof. Computer's working. Wow. I can't believe how hard this thing works. i7, like a fairly fast i7. Oh. Just destroyed it. Blew it up. I'm going to go for the yen. I just know it'll blow up on the yen. 4-hour expirations. Maybe not. See, it's so aggressive. Now it might blow it up. Look, the yen is kind of like the best for this style of trading because the yen is so psychotic. Look, you're making money, but watch. It could blow up. Now that is on the 15-minute chart yen. Brilliant until about maybe it's okay. This is what you want to see. You don't never want to hit a wall here. You just want to hit those tickets for that reason, for that scalp. I'm trying to I should probably increase my target to 200 pips because the yen can totally right there. See, that's about blew it up there. See, not got in trouble. But it was at 20 grand before it got clobbered here. It's over traded that. And that's because the expiration, and they're only 5 pips apart. So if you set these things 20 pips apart, 8-hour expiration, so you see it all changes. It can be winning, but you'd have to step in front of it and say, dude, you cannot run this robot when the market's fucking moving like 500 pips in an hour. you know it's going to get clobbered. So you kind of have to pick which robot. You have to kind of guess. Oh, looks like the market's quiet enough to do this kind of robot. I'm gonna go for the half-hour chart now. If you had the same robot running on a 15.5 hour, so maybe this survives the half hour. See, it gets destroyed on the half hour. How about the 5-minute chart? So for a robot that can run on the 5-minute chart, to me that's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's crazy. Not bad. So you actually hit about maybe like $2,000 5-minute chart. Oof, big drawdown. Oh, that's bizarre. It must have taken a hedge position here because it's bizarre the way the sizing is. It actually will put buy and sells in. Yeah, 5-minute chart's really high frequency trade in there. We're at 1,000 trades. Still going. Wow. Really trades a lot. 50 pip trailing stop. Anyways, wow, that's a nice. So look at that. Look at that. Nice climax, but then it's just going to get just hammered. The market gets too crazy. And now it's going to overfill. So I'd say on the yen, you have to write these trade blocks about 20 pips apart. That'll take you very deep. But the longer the expiration, the deeper you have to go. And on the yen, you got to go real deep. So I'm going to make it to 20 pips. Okay, that's very much more like a dead cat bounce. Robot here. Deep swing, 400 pips deep. So we shouldn't overload like this. So, super deep. Might be under trading it because of how deep. By 4 hours expiration, 400 pips deep. It's going to catch some deep swings. It's getting chopped to death here. So we're not filling those big tickets. I don't even know what the size is here. Here. If you mouse over it, it'll tell you what size. Shit. There's a 20K right here. Oh, fuck. Here's a 10K. These are all 5Ks. The market never really went that deep. Anyways, that's what I'm thinking. I'm just playing around with my robots. I got to make sure the robot's doing what I want it to do here. So I usually, if I see it's trading enough, I want to see how it's getting in. This is 20 pips apart. This grid goes down to 400 pips deep. At the very bottom, I set this thing to decay after 12 hours, which I think is 960 minutes on the very bottom of the rack of 20 blocks of entry. So the next step I want to do here, I'm going to see if I can get some assistance from the AI. See, now here it's selling into that. I would never take that trade. So this is why I wanted this robot, maybe to sell for me, and I'll buy because I have no problem buying. But I need a sell bot because I just can't. Look at beautiful sell there. You see that hook? It hooks into these sell limits. Now, the expiration is one I want to look for. So how can you tell if the expiration is properly being followed by your code slave? There, I said it. And it should be the arrow disappearing here. The arrows, of course, this is a 4-hour chart, so you don't really see it. At the tail end, ticket should last longer. There should be a cancel, but they're overlapping, so you can't really see it. But I don't know if you can see there's a string between. To me, it's under trading. I wanted to trade more, so I put in the 1-hour chart. Because I do want to see it trade. And I'm going to throw the template on real fast. What you have to do is, if you let this default template, it goes so fast. I have the fastest, well, I guess you can see it trade. Here you can see the trailing stop. I set the trailing stop to pretty wide here at 80 pips, so I could really global trailing stop. Now this is the biggest money saver for me because I have no discipline as far as money management. I'm getting in, dude. It's going up. And at least this thing would be like, no, dude, you got to tighten up because you just cannot. So that's the one thing I noticed right away with the results here. Okay, so it's in here, getting a drawdown. We're into 2 standard lots, which means only trading 20 pips deep. So really this is 2 for the euro dollar. This is not a good fit. So we're going to go to the yen. So you have to fit the pip plan, the pip bot, range, capture, static. Well, not so static, but also what I need to do is make some outrageous ATRs in here to see if it even affects anything. To do it properly, it takes time. I'd do it. Let's just throw some random. So the other thing is that what's wrong with random? Random delta, clusterfuck delta, kind of a cluster at the bottom, maybe not a logarithmic or Fibonacci compression entry where you're getting in. You're going to pick a range 100 pips deep. Well, within the last few pips of that and the time exposure to maximize one robot, each block in the 20 blocks would have different criteria. And maybe the one at the bottom is a big ticket that only lasts for 30 minutes. Now this would go against the convention of writing a robot that is a discrete unit that does one function and you know it does it and you use it as another puzzle piece to build a bigger bot. Since there's no one size fits all, it'd be like a slot bot. It's just looking for a particular filter, but you really don't want to do that, so you want to have a global filter. I also have another robot. I got a few that is fucking saying, what is the last range And the behavior there is completely different. This thing can just go absolutely berserk. Now, all these robots, like I said, you can't, there's no such thing as a master bot that does everything. Jack of all trades. It's a specialist bot. And maybe these things run, I'd say in the NASDAQ, you want that thing to be out there that ticket to be out there for like 5 minutes. Because if you do get an entry, your exposure is only 5 minutes. Because it's too expensive to trade in the NASDAQ and lay there with a bunch of limits waiting to get filled, because unless you got $1 zillion, it's impossible. So if you go to trade the Swiss franc or the Australian dollar, which is pretty cheap, right? You can trade 2 contracts there for whatever you're trading, or New Zealand dollar. The spread sucks, and it's like watching paint dry. Now, if you put a big grid, maybe you build a robot. Of course, you have to build a robot with a 4-pip spread. Now you got to be making 100 pips to justify a spread of 4. Entering on limits, right? In this grid bot, or this netting. Netting. That's what they do to your fucking positions on MD5. Oh, you got all those tickets, do you? We're going to put a master stop on that. Who in the fuck? I mean, it's the most criminal thing to do to somebody that's grid trading. We'll put that aside. That was at the Frank Todd platform. So here, you see the different ATRs here, but I don't see that we're triggering anything different. Like, look at this. It did plot it, but I don't know if it's using it for the trade logic. And maybe I'm just not even going to. These should all be. Look how long it took to get this ATR to go. ATR of 140. I don't know. I got to tighten these up. So when you start experimenting with stuff, you find yourself going down like, well, what if I did this, And I'm not going to try to, here's the 40 ATR. So maybe I should set them all really hyper. 2s and 3s. It's just still not, I don't see it affecting enough. And it's too much time. So every time you do a test, it's too much time to spend to go back and try to get every little thing just right. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll say, well, let me just put, let me crank it up. This is for testing purposes only. I'll say I'm only getting filled. Let me make these kind of big. I'll make this like a 30K, which is bigger than anything in here. So it'll show up as the highest ticket. And this I'm scanning just for really deep time. I would put a really deep time one on the so on the bottom here to make it extra deeper, dramatic. We'd say right when we get to 10. I also have a 3 block version of this. So the 3 block version of this, the best part about that is you can do very dynamic, broad-based. Okay, dude, just buy a 3K. Just buy a 3 block. And it's going to last. I don't know if I get the last 2 days, though. I haven't tested that. Like, you'd have to play the chart back. I'm looking at Troll for a flash crash that lasts 4 hours. It crushes down. And then it retraces. This is what I'm looking for. I don't want to hang around at the party. Don't have the patience for that. And when I'm sleeping, crazy stuff happens. And if you write these robots that do a very so we'll start at the top here, so I don't have to write a bunch of different bots. Like right here I can override this robot by just saying, well, buy a 50K right here. And we can see what a stop looks like for that. And we're going to get in pretty close. It's just 10 pips deep. Expiration of 15 minutes. So it'll be very dramatic shift between each block. And we got 60 minutes. And maybe we go to 2 hours. 120 minutes. And then we just kind of take it up to, 4 hours. Now we're going to go for the 8-hour ticket. I'm trying to make these as dramatic as possible, and then we'll do the sizing the same way to force it to really force that one trajectory going down at how many pips per minute, catching a falling knife on disappearing tickets. 960, and we'll just stop here and see if we were to scan coming in at 50K on the top. So it'd be 50. And we could just run to a standard lot here. Probably blow up the account a little bit. So I'll just put more money in the account. I'll start with a $100,000 account. Now I've been trading with a $10,000 account to try to get these robots to actually run with a realistic balance before it blows up. So granted, I am blowing up the account, but that's because there's, I've started with $100,000, I guess, eventually blow it up. And if you oversize these tickets, for sure. So I hope that goes without saying. Some people will say, oh gosh, you shouldn't trade like that. But, let the robot do it here just to test out the theory. Buy low, sell high. The lower it goes, the more you buy. And it has to be market specific because each market, the dynamic range, and if the market's trending, now this is a bidirectional, but it's about market depth. It's not about, it can't see the, unless you put a filter in there, but then it starts to get too complicated, and then you don't have the puzzle theory of discrete robots doing discrete tasks. So you have an office of 20 people. Each person's doing something different. They're not like one guy's watching the other guy do something, or they're doing the same dumb shit thing. So everybody's doing a different dumb shit thing. So the differences are making everything more stable, more robust. So some robots are making money, some are losing. I just had a thought here. I think I'm going to make this. I want to do a geometric bot, but it blows up really fast. But I'm going to try it here a little bit. I don't like the sizing I'm doing, so I'm going to go 2468. So it's a little bit less aggressive. Start at the 20. I did this the other day. I thought it was pretty good for the compression without blowing up the account. Otherwise, we're going to have to put the tickets in too far apart, and then we have to find a market to fit. So you're really trying to get this Goldilocks per market and per time frame. So if you're trading something that can move 40 pips an hour, the expirations need to be set maybe 15 to 4 hours, and you have to just say, okay, I know what this robot will do. I see the market going churning sideways, up and down, a tendency to smash up and down, and maybe you're running 4 robots to capture that drama, and you're pulling away at least half of what you would if you were to be supposedly a consistently good trader, but you're sleeping and the thing's churning and making money. This is the idea. You fucking thing's looking for some outrageous And on the 15, if you size it right, because you're looking for that turnaround on the half hour when the news comes out, or the market has, based on whether it's RSI or percent R, I prefer. There's the most amount of diversification of triggers, because if everything's set to ATR now, if let's just be consistent, the trade blocks need to be on the same trigger. To start to throw like some zinger bot inside of that bot would just be ridiculous. So, plus, how would you name the bot? And that's when if you make the bot too complicated, then how do you name it? So each puzzle piece has its own name. And the other filter is to start to truncate the time frame it's allowed to trade. If the noise bot, that's kind of difficult because the spreads are usually shitty. You really can't trade that. But the one that's going to trade just the U.S. markets, it's going to trade deep, and it's only going to trade that. While the other bots have traded maybe and made a little bit of money on the typical spikes, and 80% of the market's chopped, so it's made its money during the night. And that's if you can't trade the U.S. session because you're doing something else. And I think that's possible. Now, I would have to put them on a cloud and run them inside of a, to really get scientific about it, and have them published to, I think I used to publish inside of FX Blue. And at least you could monitor it, and you can get to the stats on FX Blue. I haven't done that in a long time, to be honest with you. So it's been about 10 years, I think, since I've done this. I looked at my files on HT. Hightail, I went back to the Hightail site about 9 years ago. So the MT4 folder has about 89 followers in there. I don't know if people are still following, but it's a very niche market. MT4 backtesting. Not a lot of people into it. I can tell you that on a Friday night, right? But after watching the market trade, it's still trading this thing. Do we blow it up? Do we blow up the account? I didn't look at the results, so oops. How many trades did we do there? Oh, not too bad, actually. That's kind of ideal. I don't know, that looks a little too good to be true. This is the but hey, look at it, got in pretty conservative. Didn't make a lot of money for trade for fucking, I set this to trade for 6 years. 1 hour charts. That kind of sucks. So getting back to the sizing here, I'm going to go 2468. It just keeps getting bigger by a multiple of 1 instead of like this martingale, which is just, I had a martingale bot that I was running a test on, some sophisticated thing that somebody wrote when you go to the market part of MT4, the marketplace. So here's 40K, 0, not 40K. How does the not thing? What do you mean? A not. Okay, 2, 4. So 6, 8. Just kind of a pretty hefty increase. It will stop at a standard light because otherwise it's lights out. That might be too much there. Now the time, I say to take these guys out of the picture. I'm just going to set these things to like yeah, I'm going to set these to like 15 minutes. I feel like making this a 3 standardized down here at the bottom. Now, that's the other thing. I'm not used to this much flexibility here, but it is possible to make this have a thread of the last 15 tickets on here all be set to like a half hour, short time periods, really deep. But then it's too much to try to find a fit for this robot. It's fun to have those two things layered and happening at the same time, but it gets too complicated, I think. So here we're just going to compile this. The psycho sizing here. I'm just going to run it right now without even changing anything else because I don't know. I'm too impatient to see what it looks like. Even though I know it's going to blow it up, I just want to get a feel for how crazy deep, how the delta here is got to be. That's extreme. Fuck, let's just rip it. I'm sure it's going to blow up, but like, it's not real money here. This is a test. I forgot to tell people. Back testing my limit bot. See how much it can punishment could take here. Go for the visual. It probably won't last long. I'm going to use my template, which is a 4-hour chart, line chart, closing prices within a 4-hour bracket. I'll probably go to max speed here. Let's see the performance. Now it's really trading very big. Yeah, look at the expiration. See the expiration here? That's how it should trade right there. They're fading away. The deep ones are the ones that are. We have our tickets set. The delta starts at 10 pips, 40 pips, 60 pips, 80 pips, 100 pips, standard lot, and then for all intents and purposes, these tickets don't exist because the expiration is only 15 minutes, so they kind of go bye-bye. That's crazy. It's under trading. I'd like to put more tickets in. So the problem there is that my ATR is probably set a little bit too long. No, they're pretty fast. Why is it not trading more there?
Testing out this new bot.
I guess we got to get in deeper. I mean, more shallow here. What's that?
Testing out this new bot.
Yeah, this bot. Yeah, I just been playing around with the bots, man, because I couldn't get anybody to write one. I'm having ChatGPT write me a ton of these fuckers. So
I think I did the one that $20 a month for that GPT. I mean, it was fun for like a month.
oh, for a month. Yeah, I lasted
Yeah,
about.
I played around with it. It was just like ridiculous, and then I figured out how dumb it really was. So.
Well, you know, I can't write code like that, and really, for me, the only thing that pissed me off with it, it wasn't the code. We got some great code done. That we broke up when I started asking it about specs on things, and all it does is do a web search and gets just bad data. It doesn't think. It doesn't say, yeah, that's bad data. Like, it just tells you this is what's out there.
It wasn't really like, it wasn't forward projecting. It was just like regurgitating like new ways from old ideas. You know, that's kind of what it seemed like.
Yeah. Well, the other thing it was doing, it was trying to do a little bit of trying too smart with me. So I have these robots that I wrote that are very crude. I gotta tell you, oh my God! So hard coded, hand wrote every fucking entry I could show. Dude, I've got probably about 2,000 robots. And I wrote about 1,000 myself, experimenting and held onto the code because meticulously wrote these things, to do a particular trade. And I could never get a trigger. So they're throwing out tickets. If you said, do this trade plan every 4 hours, it would, but it wouldn't have any fucking trailing stop. It didn't have any criteria for launching other than 2 hours went by, run both sides if you wanted, right? It's actually called hard-coded. And so when I gave that to ChatGPT, I said, what do you think of the code? And it came back and said, well, we cleaned it up for you. I mean, dude, you just fucking sanitized all the detail. I had these clusterfuck dude, you can't even, it's fucking unbelievable, right? It's just like, right, it was like I wrote a book and they just went and turned it into a phrase. And so we took the detail out, and because you could see that when that robot just happened to fit the right range for the swing, and these things were laid in for like all day and shit. Man, when that thing, this is without trailing stop, and that's part of the reason why I made all that money too, is that it hits the ceiling, it hits the target. The trailing stop is cool for money management. You'll see a better climb in equity, but if you want to see that trade where you just, that account that just goes like, wow, that is nice performance. Now look how good this is doing. I rewrote this with 5 tickets progressively getting in down to 100 pips deep with a standard lot here, running a 80 pip stop to make 150 pips. And this thing's trading like a motherfucker. We're at 32 grand on this right now. So what I did was, it's great to have 20 blocks, but this is a hard version. Also, we have progressive time on this where we have 900. We have a 4-hour ticket that's buying at 80K and an 8-hour ticket that buys, wait a second, what is it? I fucked up this one here. Oh, I'm going the wrong way. You gonna actually fund this thing and like launch it? Looks good. Well, I'm running it here first. I'm not about to fucking. I don't trade like you, but if you want, this is the robot you'd be trading. Buys a standard lot here with a known stop of $80. I mean, 80 pips. So you're. But when the conditions change, this robot will probably blow up. But this is pure discipline. I mean, I don't want to run these. I don't want to keep dropping these things. I know I could. I can drop grids and I can cover a zone. It looks like it would. Now it's really overloading. It could blow up now because it's getting heavy now. This is on the 1-hour chart. It really looks like it does good in like a range. Yeah, well, it's pretty much a hedgehog. Minus the big dick. Here, I like the expirations here. When you see it fading away, the exposure. Now, the robots I was talking about before. These are 15-minute, and so we start off. I'm trying to keep this simple to 5 blocks. So when we get to the 5th block, let me rewrite it while it's testing. I can rewrite, and then I just compile it, and I just run it again. Compile, run. I'm going to make this really dramatic. I'll make this a whole day, which is supposed to be 1,440 minutes. And this will be a fucking bruiser because this will be, if you drop down 100 pips in a day, this fucker's going to fill. So I'm trying to make this most dramatic as possible. And then we'll slice that in half at 960. This is 12 hours. And it's going to buy an 80K, a little bit less, but the delta, 20 pips difference. Keeping that 80 pip stop to make 115 pips. So that's kind of a unprogressive. Each one has its, this is a classic, and then the master stop set at 80 pips, which I'm giving it plenty of room to hit target, which is a good ratio. 80 pips to make 150 is not bad. So 15 minutes on the first ticket, then 60, then
I don't know why everybody always shits on
how about we go right to fucking from 60? We'll go right to fucking 4 hours. No, 8 hours. Yeah, no, we got 8 hours here. And then we'll go 4 hours. Well, maybe that's too much. 1560. See, this is the thing. How to get this progressive without slamming the robot. I mean, this is pretty. So it gets aggressive if you make this too big. So we'll take it gradually there. So we'll go 120. So 2 hours. 2 hours at 60. 2 hours at 60 pips, Steve. So if you do, you ever seen a Gann grid indicator? And I was playing with that one day, and
Gann?
Yeah, Gann. Gann's about angles. It's like a technical analysis tool. There, I said it. So
Gann high lows and all that shit.
Gann has like a 45-degree grid, but I mean you can make the grid what you want.
Like,
but
I used to use that as like a delta when price would get there when I was doing some Elliott input or whatever.
Yeah. Well, I thought there was also a thing called PyroPoint. I never saw this. I saw it once at a symposium that I went to. A bunch of traders there, and it was interesting. It was let's make this 240. Just aggressive entry. We're just gonna go with an hour here. I'm just gonna go fucking aggressive. So hour, 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, all fucking day. So 5 tickets. I'll compile it. So this PyroPoint was really cool. In other words, it was assuming a kind of a non-biased view. It could go up or down, and it would go at this trajectory. How many pips per minute? So if you take the Gann grid with a line chart and you cue it up to the most dramatic moves, and it tells you one thing is the market's capable of moving 300 pips in 1 hour in this one instrument. And you're like, shit, that is like insane. It's like a saxophone lick that goes where the guy hits a harmonic fucking way up there. 8 octaves for a millisecond. And then some stuff is just like a cello. There's no way it's getting out of this box. It's like the euro. And so writing for the instrument, and that's what, some of these robots I wrote, I go, that thing on the yen, holy shit. One night I was sitting there, I go, I know it happens to be curve fit. In other words, my robot just happens to fit the market, but holy shit. It was like this thing, we were like 90 grand. Now this thing's still at 22 grand now. If I hit the fast forward, I don't know. Here it's really low in the wagon here though. Look, it's getting filled on, if I mouse over the fill, it should tell me the size. Oh shit, I don't know. It's a lot. I like watching it trade, Plus, it's on fast mode. Plus, for me, it's a good training device to say when it's plunging like that. Oh, see, it blows up the account. As I knew it would. See, once it oversized it here, but look how you were at 36 grand. I mean, that's like right. I mean, that's 6 years of data. Going now what I'm gonna do is run what I just did the edits. It'll blow up for sure now. I can already tell because I made them really long last week. I just want to see what happens though. It's kind of like I ever seen the Addams Family, but Gomez wants to blow up the train. Oh, see it. There you go. So it blew up. So that was too much. So I think the time needs to be more like increments of 15 minutes maybe here. Oh, plus the max amount of trades on this one. This is called Max A. And what makes this robot really dangerous is you can set the max amount of tickets is set to 50. If you set this at 2, it trades completely different. But I do want to change the.
Yeah, you just uploaded Max A like a few days ago, didn't you? I saw that.
No, I just did it just now, but I I forgot how to even post anything in here. No, back in the day, we'd sit here and I had this guy. I'm gonna make this really ridiculous. This is just gonna be like 16 minutes, only going up to. It'll under trade, but I'm gonna ask it to put more tickets in. Maybe it'll do that. But people.
1 minute.
Yeah, I'll make this 120, and the max will be is 2 hours. This is as long as I'm going to have this exposed. Also, the reason I want to write this robot is for the shorter expirations, because I don't want to have to keep refreshing the market with these tickets. With the 15s, when I sit there and it's at night, I'm laying in bed, I go, I'm going to run this it's a handwritten script that just double click it, and it just runs these half hour and 1 hour. I probably get in on the long side here. It looks like we're in an uptrend, because I just want to test that out. But actually, about 2 a.m. and 6 in the morning, those are two entry points. 6 in the morning to me is the entry point. 6:30 in the morning Eastern Standard Time. For most markets, they're getting pounded either up or down and being tested at that time of day. And I build a position during that time based on where I think it's going to go. And I'll be buying the pullbacks and keep refreshing the market with 15 minutes and half hour, 1 hour tickets, trying to get picked up on something. Try to get the Goldilocks scenario where, half the tickets fill. In case it spikes down, rips through, and then when the news comes out, it's kind of the most fun in the world. If you have, you're trading really wide and really, really super wide when the news comes out. Like the yen, you make money on both sides because it spikes up and down and then ends up maybe dead in the water in the middle, or you made enough money from both ends, from the drama.
Dude, so last night before I crashed out, I downloaded those scripts that you had uploaded in like 21, like a number of years ago. So I threw them in the file, and I've always just been kind of like laying in, my sells and my buys by hand, and that was such a pain in the ass. So I actually installed the scripts, and right at about 10 o'clock, right when I was about fading out, I laid in a bank, and I was using that void fill that you use all the time. What a great it's great. It simplifies a lot of shit, man. So I threw up a bunch of tickets climbing in from like 153 and a half to like 3/4. Dude, that whole bank just filled this morning at about 2 in the morning. Came crushing the fuck down, and I woke up for New York, and I was looking at my accounts. I laid in, I don't know, about 3 lots up there total, and man, what a great trade.
Yeah, I mean, some of the trades are so funny to me because it's kind of disappointing how it doesn't take intellect, it just takes imagination and balls. It's not a scientific, and actually Elliott wave is a theory of growth and decline. It's not necessarily any type of holy grail thing.
No,
I mean,
it's not.
Prechter's
The
book is
original
actually
is
about
kind of
stock
the
markets, optimism, cycles.
It's kind of the OG of like market structure. I don't really look at it as, 5s and 3s, and I mean, I do.
Yeah. Well, I mean, wave 3, to me, wave 3, I said to myself when I was doing futures, wave 3 is the market. That you want to be in wave 3. So you want to see that first bounce, and then you want to say, you know what? This thing, we're about to go for wave 3. If you see wave 3 coming now, a lot of people put their buy stop on the top of wave 2 and get picked up, but I am very greedy, and I want to buy the bottom of wave 2. This would be the half pullback or the 618 pullback before the giant extension, Elliott wave extension. There was a book by Tony Plummer that I had that was pretty fascinating. British gilt trader, bond market. showing the extensions. Basically, market's exploding. Of course, the fact that it went up and it extended Fibonacci extensions, okay, great. But let's just face it, the fucker quadrupled. And the people that are all like, oh, 50% is not a Fibonacci pullback. I'm like, dude, any pullback's a pullback to get in. Like, so if you're bullish and you're running 15-minute buy limits, trolling for any kind of pullback because you don't want to overpay as the market's going up. So I have a robot that I'm also another robot different than this one. And what it does is it says, if the market is going down, I want you to, so it takes the opposite of what you've been told about overbought and oversold. It says, if the market's going down, only buy if the oscillator is like the other way. I can't explain it right now, but the other way. So what it does is it's saying the oscillator's maxed out, RSI's maxed out. Well, dude, any kind of pullback in RSI below anything. I'm sorry. When the oscillator's maxed out on RSI, it says start putting buy limits in, anticipating a pullback. And this robot can really kill it because it is literally saying, don't chase it. Most people are already long. You can see that it's a strong market. Let's just start running buy limits tight, close to the market. And now this is a specific kind of robot scenario. And but it's just fun because you also, it gives me confidence when I'm trading myself, because I just had to rest and assure that, dude, like, look at this. So what I'm doing is here, like this big fill down here right now on this robot. Holy shit, we filled like a motherfucker here, and look how much money we made coming out of the hole. Made a fucking like, I didn't set, actually still only got 10 grand. We almost blew this account up. This account went all the way down to 1,800, but we climbed out of the hole here. We loaded the wagon here. Went from 7 grand, exploded to almost 20 grand here. Balanced the books here, it looks like, and then came back in. Now it's kind of, but yeah, this is the dream for me. Would be, always when I first saw the expert advisor, and then when I was able to write my first robot, I thought, okay, if I got an idea, I could just test it here. This thing's putting in a lot of tickets, but actually, like I said, the ones on the very top only last 15 minutes, but you see the expirations here. Now I want to get this curve fit. I'm going to zoom in to try to get this to curve fit better. So the expiration is like, maybe I should have.
That would be so scary for me to run a bot. I mean, have you ever actually ran live with a couple of them?
This one I could handle because I like the way it's trading. It's only getting in. Actually, it's not trading too much, so I would not have a problem running this bot. Let me put my template on and see how high frequency. What's the frequency of this robot? So I have the day dividers here. Okay, it's throwing in limits here. Oh, it just traded. It didn't trade all this back here. Here, okay, traded. It's trading almost every day. It's putting tickets out every day. Hey, so far it's killing it. We're at 17 grand. Starting with 10, we're up 7 grand. We almost blew up the account though. That's the thing. If you have, so imagine you have about 5 of these robots running various depths of market. Now this is managing 5 bots, 4 bots. That's a job now in itself too. I'd rather do that in a sense because what I'm doing is I feel like I'm psychologically triggered when I see a market drop. I want to buy it. And it's a lot of stress for me. It's a dumb shit trade. Why do I give a shit? It's a stupid buy plunge thing. Or just laying so hand placing the orders, that's one thing. And that's definitely precision trading, and that's very disciplined. But part of me just wants to just have a trolling pack of crazy orders that, well, if they fill, they're great. But who wants to be clicking on the screen and babysitting these fucking charts? Like, that's what I'm really saying is I'm lazy. There, I
So
said
so
it.
if you take the bots, will that alleviate your PTSD from having to buy
Oh
or
yeah,
sell those like
yeah.
those
He gets
ETFs?
rid of my FOMO. My fear of missing out is a big thing for me. So this has been a big destructive, um, financially destructive to me. Well, I mean, on any level, just I mean, it makes me over estimate because I want something to happen. So I might force a trade. I might say, well, looks like we're going to go up here. Yeah, let's let's put get it. Yeah, you'd stop me out. Now that's going to happen, right? But I think if I'm in one ticket and I'm like, yeah, let me just look at that. Like, actually, what I did originally when I had a phone, I just got a phone about 3 years ago, 4 years ago. I've never had an Android. And the MT4 platform in there is kind of, I can't do anything. But it's great for monitoring. So I sleep with the phone and I see a ticket fill and I'm like, oh, fucking A. So that's instead of an alarm, instead of a alarm of a trades, there's a possible trade, is that I see I'm getting filled on a deep grid or I'm getting filled on anything that I know that I placed in there. Oh, look at that, got filled. And then when I see it, I go, is this going to keep plunging? And the question is it going to keep plunging? Should I start putting more limits? Now, what I should do is start putting more limits in because it's probably not going to turn around on that first ticket. There's no fucking way that it's going to turn around on this first ticket.
Here's my question to you. Like, let's say if the parameters of your five bots that you wrote, maybe you fire live, like how exactly are you going to, in and of itself, as you said, the job of managing those bots, how would you actually do that? I
Well,
mean, what would that look like?
this robot has a magic number, and each ticket block has a magic number, and so you could have a more sophisticated management system running. There's another platform that they have, which is actually, it's called MT4. It's for people that trade more than one account. I can't remember the name of the platform, but it's just nothing but a master account manager thing. Because you probably want to run robots maybe on different accounts too, but that's getting down that's a little bit rabbit hole. But yeah, I mean, if you're gonna do this,
Are you going
magic
to check
numbers.
in on them once a day, or like, are you
Oh
going to?
fuck! Are you kidding? I look at my phone and fucking shit my pants. Actually, I did run a robot with real money. That's right. I got frustrated one day. I was getting stopped. I was getting frustrated trading. I go, you know what? This is fucking. I was trying something new, and I go,
It's kind of self defeating, isn't it? I
well,
mean,
I ran a
if you're
robot. I ran a robot that actually I could. It's called ATR, and it trades a very bizarre system. It goes out to see if it has a ticket on. It's doing a hedge thing. Anyways, it traded. So I ran it and I thought, oh my god, this thing's fucking making money. Like I'm looking at my phone going, it's up. Look at this shit. Now, what I would really do in the real world if I was going to trade robots like that for the first time, I would just have my take all profits script ready to go at all times with my tablet right with me. I would never be without my tablet running a hotspot, whatever I had to do. And if I saw it was up like 1,000, I would hit take all profits because you tip, like, knowing the size you're in. So this one account I used to run on 1Ks, you're only allowed 600 tickets, right? And I traded this account for years like that, and I could only make about $2,000, and I'd lose maybe $2,000. If I go break even. The only way to get to like making $8,000 is you got to take this because you're only allowed 600 tickets. So that's the other thing. Look how much money this thing's making. This thing's trading 20K, 40K, 60K, 80K, a standard lot, and the expirations are going for 15.
The broker has to be able to handle the volume of what the bot is throwing at it too.
Yeah. Right. I mean, some brokers, there's no limit. I don't think Hugo's got one. I mean, some of these brokers, I do ask them in the chat, I say, what's your limit? They go, there isn't one. So, of course, your account's going to be a problem too. It's going to blow up. So that's also the limitation. The 600 is saving you too, because the broker's going, no, sorry, and that might save you, right? That's the ultimate gate. The ultimate limiter is, yeah, you're only allowed these many tickets, and those ones have to expire. So once those expire, you have a constant exposure of 600 tickets, and if they all lasted a week, you can put a week expiration on this. So the big robots I'm talking about earlier that I wrote that are static, I set those for a week expiration. 1 week. Oh my God. 1,000 pip grids. 1 week expiration. Now, I don't think the broker, maybe there's no broker on the planet that could trade. So these are fantasy bots I wrote. But let me tell you something. You're like, that thing made like 90 grand, from a $10,000 account. It's just glorious, and some of them blow up because there is no trailing stop on it. That was not, they just kept putting tickets out there. I'm going to fast forward this spot and see what happens. Now, this will probably blow up as soon as I skip forward. This is the ultimate test. How does it do over the long run?
I mean, like, I guess I'm a little confused because, I mean, I get the premise of what you're doing, but wouldn't you want to turn these on at, like, when you get to your desk at, like, 3:30 in the morning? Wouldn't you want to fire them right then and there? Or would you have them just going through all 3 sessions, Sunday through Friday?
Yeah, this thing I got, this one's set to start trading 1 hour in, and it's going to trade for until 4 p.m. So it's going to start 6 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'm going to trade to. Now look at the results here. Look at I know this is curve fit and everything, but look at this. We almost blew up the account, but we ended up with 23 grand on this robot. It's crazy. I just want to see if it blows up on every tick though. It's a 1 hour chart it traded, going back 6 years. It just so happens.
I might actually do this, man. Fucking put in like $1,000 and kind of lower the, just to see what happens, man.
Well, I wouldn't just to see what happens. That may be the best approach, but because I think I would want to demo trade that for quite some time before I put money in it. I would trade it. The other thing to do psychologically, the other reason I would do it is if you run a demo version of the robot, watch it trade and go, okay, would I do that trade? Now this, and maybe it trades against you in the same account. It's trading with you, and you're just trading your normal trading. I was curious to see what that would be like. And that would be a demo account also. In other words, I see the account's up. I'll take profits. I would override the robot for sure, especially at the end of the session. Maybe I'd take all pendings open. The other thing is so many ways to approach it. You could just say close all open and close pendings at the end of 5 p.m., irregardless if you're up or down. Close all open and pendings. And then turn the robots back on, or they're going to come back on anyways at 6 p.m. And they're out there sniffing for trades. I want to watch them trade. I've done that. I've traded demo robots. I've traded 5 robots at once. You have to open a screen for each robot. Each robot needs its own chart. And you can't close the platform. You can reduce it, but you got to have that computer on the whole time. That's why people run a cloud, but I'm not going to go cloud. I just run a computer. I got 5 computers. A dedicated computer to running the EAs. And I think I'm going there just because, to tweak a bot and to watch it trade and think, yeah, I guess I'd do that trade. Then I think if it agrees with me, but maybe it's better if it doesn't. I don't know. It's hard to say because it's more objective than me. I'm going to look at the Dow Jones and go, well, look at this fucking shit. Look at gold. But see, the volatility in gold, it's all spilling over. The volatility in Bitcoin. But what people don't realize, it's not about the trade plan or how good it is. Does your stop fit the current volatility of the markets? Probably not. Like if you're used to trading gold with a $20 stop and make a living, you can't you're out. You can't trade. The last, your business is not. You can't stay in business with that stop. Like the market's aren't. It's fucking nuts, right? Who's stepping into this market? Who's stepping into gold? You have to wait till it calms down. Most people wait till it calms down. No, I mean,
I trade gold every day.
but I mean, right? But I'm saying the people that are looking at that monthly chart, going, "Wow, hey Jake, look at that 55 all the way back to 1,000 pips swing." Woof. Now, yeah, unless you're cut out for that, but you'd have to. If you watch the gold market when it was top tick Tommy on the silver, you're like, dude, look at, like I was looking at it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I looked at the monthly and I go, I know people are giddy about this, but if you're buying here, you're probably gonna want to put it like I don't know, like a $50 stop on silver. Like you're buying just for fun. Like if you don't think this is pulling back, I'm sorry. It's just.
Yeah, no.
I mean, I don't know, dude. You really got to be out of your fucking mind. It's
I'm trading futures contracts on metals, different broker. I'm not using the MT4 stuff.
Yeah. No, it's just it's so high drama that I ran some scripts on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq and Dow took the same grid. They look almost identical. I ran them in a horizontal stack today. They look identical charts, really. I think the Dow is a little less brutal. The Nasdaq looks like the yen, and the Dow looks like the euro, as far as the drama and the amount of pips that you would be, having to bracket deal in if you're gonna accumulate. Which I'm just doing like a pip grid trade. So in essence, that's the style. And I've looked at grid trading. There's a guy years ago that was doing grid trading, and I thought, oh, that's nice. More sophisticated robot than mine. My robots are kind of clunky, but like I know what it's doing. I can't understand the code that's so. Even if I saw the source code for some of these ones that people are trying to sell, or the free ones they have at Marketplace inside of MT4 platforms, some of those really perform brilliantly. And you can set it for martingale, and this thing fucking clean up. I mean, you're like, dude, I could never trade like that. So these robots I have are just it's a grid. You can get your brain around what it's doing. But it's, I don't know, man, people, oh gosh, this is not even, it won't be able to do this every tick. So. See, this robot, you would need a super fast computer, which they don't make, for a single core. So I'm gonna use this on, I'm gonna put it on the yen just for kicks. It'll probably blow up. I'd like to guess what the robot's gonna do, how it's gonna perform. So that's the best. Well, I'm trading just a euro and the yen. I mean the euro and the yen, because it's basically a triangulation of the plan. It's three currencies. It's a dollar versus the euro versus the yen. And if I had a yen bot and a euro bot, I think there'd be enough diversification there that if there's no trade happening there in the yen, I'm going to pick something up on the euro. That's the other.
I wonder how this thing would work on
diversification.
That would be interesting.
What's on what?
GJ. On GJ.
You mean the guppy? The pound versus the yen? Oh, yeah, I don't know. No, I have, like I said, this guy, I met this millionaire. He's traded that fucking guppy. I said, dude, you're fucking crazy. I just can't be down like, he's down like, yeah. Actually, he sued one of these brokers, FX Go, down in Australia. He was trading gold there when gold was trading. This is like gold was trading $1,000 an ounce, and he was like, he got stopped out. He got really upset, and he sued him. Yeah, see, it's gonna blow up on the yen. Can't handle it. Too much volatility in the end. It's fun to
I
watch
get
it
sick of
trade.
babysitting these fucking charts in the morning, man. It literally took me like I don't really trade a lot on Fridays, just because I know a lot of brokerages are taking the day off. I don't want to get in, that quad witching or whatever with options and have all the really volatile swings and futures. But man, dude, it shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to put a bunch of like just drop a rack in and walk the fuck away, man. Like seriously, that's what it should be. It's 5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly the outside edge. So the day is kind of the no-brainer trade there. Yeah, the set and forget it trade is interesting because I mean the mindset that set it and forget it in the extreme other side of that is trading at the market. Trading at the market is very difficult because, well, why bother when you know that you're better off just putting limits in? Honestly, I only trade at the market if I think, oh, it is going to go the other way. And then I'm like, oh, it is going to engulf. And then I'll add to it in the market. That's the best trading for me. Let the market come to me. And then once I see it actually turns around there, I'll be like, oh, I'm going to jump on some more of that. That was beautiful. Let's do it.
I'd like to get to the point in my trading where it's like I'd like to just put in limits for the week on Monday.
Yeah, I know
I
you
don't
can.
particularly.
But my broker is like, well, I'm only allowed so many tickets, so it kind of clogs up the. But what I'll do is I'll mark it off on a rectangle on the chart. I mean, trading's so boring that it really is kind of disappointing. That's why I do like the crush.
If you're trading, dude, if your trading is boring and you're profitable, I'll take boring all day long. It should be boring.
Yeah, I guess so. That's why I do the demo. So I trade the demo alongside my real money, so that if I feel like it's more like trading porn that way. Or I'll test these robots while I'm trading with real money at the same time. In other words, I don't think my brain knows the difference. The subconscious doesn't know the difference between this trading that's going on here with the robot and my real money. Trading's trading according to my subconscious. It's only to my banker that real money matters. So I mean, but I love testing this out. Look at the expirations on here where you have a nice long expiration. But I should make that longer. I always think I should make that longer.
Hey man, those 8-hour scripts I laid in last night at 10, 10:30 at night, man. They just banged it.
Well, here's the thing. I do look at the clock sometimes if I want to maximize that 8-hour window. So if I drop these things at like midnight, if you drop them at 12:30 and the news is coming out at 8, I kind of want them to disappear before the news comes out and put fresh scripts in there. Or like I know the news is coming, I'm like, you know what? I've dropped 8-hour. I dropped the certainly the short term ones just before the news. The best is to drop a 15-minute just before the news, a half hour, and just go, you know what? Let her rip. If the market can spike down in a half hour and rip back, to me, that's the ultimate use of the half hour, 15-minute script.
But
But you can only
risk of what you normally would put on the very edges and just see what happens.
Gosh, thinking of that, I'm going to set this robot to trade the news or trade the U.S. Open. Let me see what happens. Look, it's doing pretty good right now. Look at this. Oh my God! So I'm trading the yen on the 15-minute chart. Hey, look at that. We're at 27 grand. See right here, I would step in front of the robot and go, buddy, you're gonna go somewhere else. You're doing so good. I'm gonna stop you from trading. In fact, this guy that had a prop firm, one of these from Market Wizard stories, he was the guy that picked which trader should be in the market. Oh, it's a trending market. Get this guy. Ralph's great at trend trading. Here, this fucker trades range trade. So he would actually pick which robot, so to speak, which human is going to do which trade, which is kind of cool, you know. I mean, he was the curator of humans for the prop firm. Ralph, why don't you take the day off? Because he knows he's going to get clobbered. You know. Because my style of trading is I'm very stubborn. I'm pretty much contrarian. Or at least think that most people are just completely too enthusiastic about the trend. Like, I just feel like it's a trap all the time.
Let me ask you this question.
Every breakout's a fake out.
When you're starting to work New York, do you ever get online and watch any of these live traders that are on like either prop firms or they have their own little channels or anything?
God, I used to, man. I used to tune in and make fun of them and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I used to watch them. There was one guy, this Asian dude. I mean, he's making money, right? He's on using the VWAP. He's on NASDAQ, and he's looking for this trade. And I think I made a video about him because, like, I was just astonished. Of course, you know, we see, everybody sees the world a different way, right? And he was making money because he had good money management. It had nothing to do with his fucking entry and exit. I mean, he was so late to the entry, and I just thought, are you kidding me, dude? You're waiting for some VWAP shit? What the fuck? Yeah, this is trading's the dumbest shit in the world. You just put your ticket down there. I always used to tell people, you believe in the Gartley pattern, put a limit down there. You think that's a tip of a bat wing?
I still gotta look Gartley up. I have no idea what the fuck you're even talking about.
It's kind of like saying, listen, you want to decide what you're going to do with the rest of your life? Let's get out the tea leaves. You got a kettle here? We could warm up some hot water. It's like reading tea leaves to put a trade on, dude. It's just fucking ridiculous. In the end, you know, those people need a lot of money management. Better have a trailing stop on that shit. It's like Elliott wave on acid. That's what Gartley is. If you dropped acid, but, you know, listen, I mean, and people actually call out in a Ron L. Hubbard-esque way. They call out a page number. They actually have another name for it, and it's the page number out of a book that was done like in the 20s about trading. And I'm like, you people all need fucking help. Just do. You know, fucking need help. Look at we're fucking 38 grand now. Let's see, what did I tweak it? What I do, I put in how is it so magically making money? What did I do? 15-minute chart on the yen. Trading. Oh God, let me look. So we're getting in no more than 2-hour expiration. Standard lot down here. It'll do 50 max orders though. It's trading its ass off. Gosh, it's not even.
Yeah, it looks like it's
so it's trading in. The delta's 10 pips away, then 40, then 60, then 80. But 10 pips, man, it's trading that shit a lot.
Are you on the 15?
Yeah, 15-minute chart. It's a yen on the 15. Let me put on my template and see how many times it's trading per day. So what I'm looking for is a high-frequency robot. I mean, when I say high-frequency, I'm not talking about the way they talk about it. I'm talking a lot of tickets per day. Let me see how many tickets it's putting in per day here. Oh, this is great. See, look at the stacks. Look at these stacks here. Look at this thing. It's trading its ass off on the 15. No, the 15's great. Yeah, see, I can't babysit the 15, but look at this fucker do it. Now that's buying 100 pips deep, standard lot. The delta here could be a little bit closer actually, but don't forget it's the yen. Look at this thing. You know, the yen moves. Look at this. The 15-minute chart. The yen moves about. In one day, it moves 100 pips. You know, if you know that is possible. Yeah, so big expirations here. I'm gonna fast forward, see if it blows up. So I see I like the way it's trading, but now I'm gonna blow through to the bottom. Let's see what happens. Might blow up. If it gets to 100 grand, I'd be very impressed. And then blows up, I could still deal with that because I could babysit it and go, you know what, you're done. Get to 100 grand on my account.
Balance when What is the initial balance when you start one?
Oh, see, it blew up. It made it to 50 grand and blew up. I started with 10 grand. But see how it overfilled on these tickets? Something catastrophic happened in the market here. Now, this could be bad data. The other thing I'm going to do is now I'm going to tell it just to trade like from, what is it going to be? If it starts trading at 5 a.m. Let's start trading at 8 hours in. It's going to start trading. So it's gonna trade less. Same robot, same time frame, 15-minute chart. But yeah, that could be bad data. I've seen there's gaps on this data at Hugo and other places where there's a complete collapse, like there's missing data, which means how can the market jump down so far? No, because you have a gap in prices. And there's probably better data I could get to really backtest it. But I would just, anyways, in the real world, I would just, like I said, I'd run demos of it. So if I felt safe, it's not going to go into a loop. I wrote this one script at myself one day I'll never forget. Like, this is like 8 years ago, I'm at a friend's house. My power went out, so I took my laptop with me and hooked up to his Wi-Fi. And I was trading the Australian dollar, and I thought, well, I'm just going to put this script in that's going to buy 1K, a really tame ticket, 1 or 2K, and a little cluster down deep, 50 pips. And I didn't realize that it had a bad line of code in there, which meant it's going to loop and loop and loop and loop. Because I was asking it to do an undoable ticket. So it said, we'll try again. And I was looking at my phone or the chart, and I didn't see it. I didn't have a phone back then, my laptop. I go, that's cool. But I'm watching my account, like the terminal part. I see the scroll getting smaller and smaller. What the fuck's going on? Oh, tickets are stacking up. And once I reached about, now it's like, instead of a 1K, it's 400K sitting at one price. And I see it got filled. And I'm like, this one's in God's hands. This account only's got like $2,000 in or something. I was like, but this is back when I had 10 forex accounts, dude, from offshore that I'd sent money through Canada, through Liberty Reserve to these brokers. Dude, it was crazy. Like stuff like, you ever heard of Metal Forex or Metal Forex out of the Bahamas? 1,001 leverage.
Back in the day.
Oh, dude. I had, my favorite was, so the most exciting trading I ever did back then was, it's about 2 o'clock in the morning. I felt like I was a gambler, going to a casino. Digital casino. I see Exness out of Russia. Exness lets you trade 1,001 leverage. They let you trade gold. This is when gold first spiked. And I'm like, so I traded gold there. And I made a little bit of money in micro lots. Maybe nano lots. They'd let you trade nano lots and shit. So, because you can't take your money out unless you prove your ID and stuff. So, but they did let me trade. And I get it, you got to verify that you, for $50 account or something, $100 in the account. But that's very exciting. And then there was one called out of Russia. I'll never forget. So when Dodd-Frank came, the guy called me and he said, it was called Master Forex out of Russia. And he said, you got to close your account. I said, why? He goes, well, they're going to come after us if you don't. I said, but you're not in the United States. He goes, it doesn't matter. They're just going to raid us. They raided the other broker down the street. It was pretty sad. And my thinking there is that the deep state exchanges, the exchange was a deep state, said that's not going to happen on our watch. In other words, you had to pay when I was a kid. You had to pay to trade. You had to pay exchange fees, and the seat on the exchange is something like a piece of real estate. You could sell and make money just owning a seat. You didn't even have to trade. So it's a very closed club over there in Chicago. in New York. And once forex came, and the retail guy could trade online without any commissions, other than the spread. Once people found out about that, that's when the lobbyists from the floor traders came after the forex brokers, I think, and said, "Not on my watch. There'll be no fucking free trading around here, son." I just think it's a good old boy tactic. Sadly, too, like any other thing, too good to be true. And then, the other one I had was, so I had this script I wrote. I was running at this place called Trading Point. It had another name before that, and that was in Cyprus. I had 5 accounts in Cyprus because there was no income tax in Cyprus. So the banks, all the forex banks, were in Cyprus. Probably still are. I had one called Windsor Brokers. It was so cute. They made me fill out a form saying how much money I made, my net worth. I go, dude, it's a fucking. But it was like a real account, though. It was closer to a real brokerage account. And I traded silver there, and I traded silver and crude oil there. And I actually shorted a little bit of silver right at the top when it hit $60 one night in the middle of the night, and it just walked all the way down to like $20 an ounce after that. That was kind of exciting too, because I did make a lot of money, but I thought, oh, that's cool. Like you were saying, I got into this trade because of these circumstances. It's kind of neat. It teaches you that it is possible to have those kind of trades show up. So I'm kind of optimistic, I like to think, yeah, that's possible. The robot thing is certainly the greatest. I would say it's probably going to do as good as those robots that clean your floor, that bang in the shit and get stuck.
I got one of those, man. They're great. I just got one about 3 months ago.
I guess the originator filed bankruptcy. The guy that wrote the original robot, he filed bankruptcy recently. Poor guy. So I'm truncating this trading. I'm taking it's only going to trade for a slice of time here. So I'm going to test it on the same thing. This did 600 trades. It hit 46 grand before it blew up, and now I'm going to put a big leash on the trading window. Trading 8 hours in, so it probably barely trade it. It'll never hit 40 grand now, but it won't blow up. So it's kind of cool. Definitely puts a leash on it. It only trades that. And the criteria has to line up too. Not only does it. I'll skip to the end. I don't think it's going to trade enough to. Hey, made it to 20 grand. Look at that. A lot less risk.
Damn, you got that shit on. Got that shit on a hyper, man. Holy hell.
Wow, forget what I said. The fucker just hit 42 grand, but I don't know if it's trading, if it's really truncating the window. I hope I'm editing the right robot. Let's see the settings. Yeah, it's max A. Maybe it doesn't blow up. It won't. Oh, it still blew up. Didn't seem to make too much difference here. I'm gonna really fucking make it barely trade. Maybe this doesn't work. So some of this stuff that ChatGPT wrote for me, it doesn't work because the syntax is wrong. Like it's reading this setting at the wrong point in time, so it's not really. I'm just gonna let it trade for only 2 hours a day here.
Let it hit the open.
Just trade that window from, here. No, I'll make it trade so it just trades the 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. window. So that would be 12 hours in. It's gonna miss a day. So maybe we'll trade for 3 hours after. Let it trade for 4 hours, so it only has one 4-hour window to trade.
you been taking notice of the moves that they're making, like right at the lunch hour recently?
Oh, in the United States, you mean 12 noon here? Or you
Yeah,
mean?
on East Coast time.
Yeah, I mean that's a typical kind of. Also 3 p.m. today. If you notice the yen, severe, you know,
Drop.
recovery from a spike down. So markets are very extreme, and I noticed maybe they're driven by the robots to. Well, they've been on the clock for some time. I've stared at these tick charts for years and just noticed the. I mean, of course, the news comes out. Holy shit, right? Just complete explosions. I have done trades on stop entries. I was doing that actually. I'd written some buy stops and thought, well, the market's going to explode up, dude. Why kill yourself? Just, and a little bit of slippage, but some of that made money. And there was a time when I was trading with these trend traders, and I'm like, yeah, I'll just keep buying on limits. You know, these guys are in this fucking trade. Oh, yeah, I believe it. It was Australian dollar trades I used to do. You trade a lot there without getting too killed. Oh, I just set this thing to barely trade. Hopefully it's going to work. Because otherwise my trading window isn't affecting it. It's only allowed to trade for 4 hours a day. But maybe my tickets are too high. Oh, look at this. So look here, it only allowed to trade for 2 hours a day. Look at made money. See, it only trades the U.S. session. It only trades from 5 a.m. to 3 hours from there, 8 a.m. If I extend this a little bit more, yeah, no, this is it. You know, now I can trade more aggressive in this window. I can just sleep in. No, this is the answer for me because like I said, I do trust these robots would do this bullshit trade here, but in 6 years it didn't put on. It only put on a few trades. I'm gonna need something that trades more than that. Let me. So since I've made this window a little bit tighter, I'll trade up until we'll trade for 4 hours past 6 hour window of trading. And it's going to be to make it trade more. I need to increase this delta. I'm just going to trade every fucking 10 pips. I mean, this would be crazy. I mean, we're really going to be very aggressive here. And they have to regulate it with the time expirations, which is pretty conservative, 60 minutes. So we're actually going to put in these, try to get picked up on a flash crash. Make this 40 pips.
Are you looking at your
60 pips.
Discord screen right at the moment?
No, I just kind of been writing these, editing these scripts a little bit. Let me see. One more thing I'm going to change. I'm just going to go 10 pip grid. Why? What are you thinking? Somebody posting something?
No. I was gonna just show you something here. I shared my screen on this.
Here, let me go to. Almost got this last thing in here. I'm gonna go for 50 pip window. I just want to see what happens. We compile and test it. Oh, that wasn't bad though. So we're trading a little bit. I increased that window, so basically no trading until U.S. markets open and the news comes out. This is kind of a news bot. Okay. All right, let me go to the screen here. Let me see what you got on the Discord. How do you do that? I gotta hit something, right? Okay, it's blackjack. Is that what you got? Is that right? Watch stream. Is that what I hit your thing? Is that what I gotta hit? I forgot how to share a screen on here.
Yeah, it should be sharing
okay.
on this.
Okay, yeah, right. Right. I see
right?
what you got. Right.
Okay, so as
Let me
part of
zoom in. Let me zoom in big. Okay.
let me give you some more real estate
Right.
here. So, like when I go
Holy
to
shit. No.
F,
Wow. What platform is this? Is this TradingView?
yeah, this is
Okay.
TradingView. So what I've been doing is like when I pull up a pair, okay, like euro, dollar, GJ or UJ, what I do is I am using this one indicator. It's very much like that void fill. And what I do is when I get to these kill zones, like it shows these previous two sessions when I get to New York, right? What I
Right.
do is I use this keygen. I don't know if you've ever used this before. This keygen almost works like a void fill of where price is probably going to go.
Okay.
So what I do is I use this to lay in banks. I
Is
like
that is
lay
that
in
is
bank.
that an indicator like an offset from like cloud trading?
Yeah,
Is
the
it
keygen is part of
part of
the
cloud trading, right?
yeah, that
Yeah. Okay.
Japanese whatever the
And then, you pick a little offset to it. You pick an offset number. It's like a forwards.
I just use this. I use the standard. I
Oh, it's
just
just
use the standard.
standard, not shifted. So
Let me look.
so the Keegan's moving average, kind of a fair
20.
value, trailing fair value. Okay,
Yeah,
20.
it's a 20 period.
So
So
it's
what I
it's
do
like
is
a Hakanashi. It's smoothed out the high low close, kind of smoothed out. It looks like it has that Kenter channel look to it. You ever seen a Kenter
yeah.
channel?
What I do is I just merely look at, the previous session high low like this morning and I use this keygen to where I think price is going to go. I don't necessarily use the candles. So what it
Right.
does is it gives me like a half track of where price is going to go from the lows. And I start building like this one this morning. Or last night, I started building my position from this point going on up to the Keegan point up here. Okay, where it kind of flattened out. Like, let's say if it was going to rip up, tag these highs up here. So I built a position from right here. About 3 lots up here. I put my stop kind of where this FVG was going to go. I use this as a key point level
So
of
you
where
just
my
you just
stop's
put
going to
that
go.
rectangle in yourself as an object, or is it drawing that too?
And then I put in more up here in case there was going to be like a massive news rip. And sure enough, this motherfucker goes up and tags, fills all of my tickets from this point, this Keegan point, where I call the half point, filled all my tickets, slammed right back down, and went into the Asia low. So from here to here, I'm using this as kind of like a statistical marker of a halfway point of where prices, the probability of it actually working. So I build my position either going up or down. I'm usually on the 30-minute, as kind of my analysis of, well, hey, I think this is a really, really biased, I have to have some kind of bias, but my bias mainly comes from the 4 hour. We're obviously in a downtrend. I'm thinking this fucking thing's going to rip up, tag a bunch of tickets up here, and go straight back down, which it did. And, it was a great payday. But I'm using the 4 hour as kind of like hey, we're going down, and the objective that I have every day is that I'm either, if we're going up, I want to tag tickets lower or I want to tag tickets higher in the morning. That's all. And that Keegan is really, really nice. And it kind of doubles as where the magnet, I guess you could say, of where price wants to go.
Yeah, it looks like a fair value standard deviation. We can return to that center point. At least it's doing like a hard level for a while. So, but yeah, it's It's interesting. It almost reminds me of what market profile tries to do is look back and say, okay, what is the last hot spot and what's the last thin spot? They ever look at market profile, which will show a MT4 platform. You got to be careful. There's one called MP indicator inside. I think when you go to even where I put those things in hightail, you got to be careful when you put that on a chart. Because the computer will, if you set the look back too far, it'll take into account every fucking thing. Too much.
No, my look back on these is not too far.
Yeah, 20
I
period.
kind of like, yeah, I've kind of instituted like a, what could be like an order block situation here.
Yeah,
Like where major larger targets could be where there's like maybe like buy side or sell side. It's a
yeah.
little bit ICT-ish. There's a little bit of no nonsense in there, and there's
Well, I
a
mean the
lot of
liquidities. Yeah, liquidity zones. I mean, what ICT talks about liquidity zones. Yeah, those are real. The question is that how dense are our tickets? How tight are our stops? How wide are our take profits? How tight are our take profits? So the high probability trade is to risk 20 to make 10. You could probably do that at the edge. But too many of those
I do.
tickets, and you're gonna have a problem. Then there's always the outliers, which I say the black swan trade, which I always like to run those just as an exercise, just in case. And when the news comes out, the super deep ones, I'm sure we've all had those moments where we go, "Wow, that was the most perfect fit for that amount of drama." And when you watch it, Phil, it is, I wouldn't say exciting, but it certainly can be terrifying. The news comes out, you see it fill, and you go, yeah, I counted on about 3 standard lots filling down there. If that does happen, and it comes into a matrix where it comes back out, and it's already scalped off the bottom, that's when I feel safe. I'll actually might refresh at that point, double click, and come back with more tickets. Now, it's really quite you're kind of like trading in, you're not risking 2% of your account. You're risking like 0.001% of your account on some of these ideas that you're. But when you see that tension, right, the market comes up and then it stalls 5 minutes under the floor, and then you go, oh, well, what's going to happen now? And we're either going to keep going down or it's going to wrap around. And so I'm pretty much feeling that's going to wrap around if it stalls out too hard at that support level that it crashed through, and it's a fake break. Fake out becomes a breakout becomes a fake out. It stalls out there, and now it's probably going to wrap around and go full auction. Take out the high of the day. Those are the easiest trades during the news, and 15 minutes later, the whole thing's over. Then there's a drift, but that's trend trader stuff. So the cool thing about trading is that you can trade both, scalp and swing and trend trade, but probably separate accounts, right? I mean, because the scalping account, you want that nice tight spread, even though you're paying commissions. And then for the swing trade, who gives a fuck? Could be some fucking shit about broker with a bad spread. You traded Owanda with a fucking swing trade or a trend trade, right? Small position. They'll let you trade nano. That once something I'll tell you about that. Like, but at least that's watching paint dry for a NASDAQ trader. It's like watching paint dry. It wouldn't work out. I don't think he'd survive with blowing your brains out.
Yeah, I mean, I probably should have been more at the edge of, these highs that I thought were going to sweep out. But you have to be okay taking drawdown, building
Right, well,
that.
that's the thing. I mean, when I see, so the kind of, when I feel like I'm on the top of my trading, is that I estimate the fill. So when the market's open Sunday, I'm thinking, well, I'm prepared to run these scripts this deep, and I see them start to fill. I think, well, that's what okay, that's about right. That's a beginning, and this is the this guy Richard Dennis, I think one of these traders. calls these probe trades, right? So not really going to make a lot of money, but we're going to probe the market. I start to see that fill. I think, yeah, this could be, and then I'll start to layer them up and sit back and wait, watch a movie. If they don't fill, maybe they do fill. Maybe they overfilled. Oh, okay. But so I like to lag into it. I mean, I like to put my initial deep bank in. If that doesn't fill, I start to put in shallower banks and try to just match the market. When 9:30 comes, wow. I don't know what it is about 9:30, but fucking yen's on fire. It's so funny because it's 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, 12 hours from now. That's the other thing I'll never forget. Never forget the 12-hour charts at FXCM on their web-based platform. And I watch these candles. I go, really? I didn't even bother editing. I hate red and green. I like a different color because I have to me it's chromatic shift vibration problems. I wear glasses, and so when I'm looking at that chart, I go, you got to be kidding me. This fucker went up 12-hour candle, down 12-hour candle. Oh, you got to be really, like you were saying about noon. I'm like, no. And I'll never forget the video that they posted at FXCM, How to Trade Forex. And the guy put a fucking limit order right on the fucking edge of the top. He goes, you're probably going to sell up here at resistance. He put a limit order up there. And I thought, he's right. That's the trade. And after that, it's just the balls to trade like that. Because everything else is nothing but this attempt to cushion the risk by saying, wait, I got an indicator. Got this magic potion.
I don't care. I don't care how many indicators you have. I don't care what algo you think, everything's got to match up. I've done it. They're all lagging. Like those big moves that you're going to make money on, why not just be there in the first place before the big fucking move? You know what I mean? I don't get how people can build a quote unquote algorithm out of indicators and having multiple let's confirm, I need more confirmation.
Well, it's like they're getting married though, They're going to get married, so make sure it's just right.
You got a 40 pip rip by the time your indicators even say hit the go button. I just don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I've done the no nonsense thing. I've done the IC.
Oh, really?
Thing.
You did no nonsense? Really?
Yeah.
You did. Who else?
I had some success.
So did you run? Did you build like a moving? We have like a moving average kind of system there. I mean, did you build like filters and say, okay, I'm just gonna look at the dailies?
No, I was that daily shit that
Isn't that a little too tame?
Guy, like, oh, we only do the daily pair. Like I. When the fuck are you gonna actually? When are all these indicators actually gonna align? You get like 9 trades a year off of one pair because
right.
It's never really in.
Well, that's the thing. I'll never forget going into the Discord. So I went into No Nonsense Discord. I go in there, I go in a room where they're talking about trading, and I guess I knew it was going to be a problem because I was like, why don't you just do this trade stuff, and why don't you? And they were like, kind of like this cult. It was like Scientology. They go, listen, buddy, don't make fun of Ron L. Hubbard in here. You don't want to have to be sitting in the fucking bilge down in the off the coast of Florida, do you? And so I knew it wasn't gonna, I wasn't gonna. But I was always trying to go in there and say, so some of these places, I go, hey, did you ever think of that? So I was actually had the opportunity to do it in public once. And it's only because I went down to the library, And so this is a dare I took. I was trying to find another trader to team up with. There was nobody doing MT4 like 10 years ago. What I'm doing, so I was excited about the script I wrote. So I went down and rented the 12 computers for an hour for like $100 or something stupid. Took my USB with MT4 out of this Grant Forex that went out of business. Actually had an account there, and one night I was watching my account fluctuate like drastically out of nowhere. They were in the Isle of Man, and somebody told me they kill people there. But that's where the broker was, out of the Isle of Man. And so I had a demo account loaded on these people on the computers. And I had about 8 people show up. And what happened was, I was on this thing called meetups. You ever heard of meetups? I'm kind of I guess I'm extroverted when it comes to this kind of stuff. And I went to a meeting in a church that has a gold dome in Detroit. This crazy place. And there was about 50 stock traders in this room. And they had a guy, and he came up to the podium. I'll never forget. I was there the night he resigned. It was maybe the second night. And he goes, I've been doing this thing, and I'm just over it. Anybody want to take over? And I put my hand up, and I took over. And a guy in the group was like, oh, I guess you think you're Mr. Smarty Pants. I go, I think I am. And he emailed me all these nasty things. Oh, I suppose you think you're going to, like, well, I guess I am. Nobody else took the fucking thing. So then I invited anybody that was interested from this group into my new group, MT4. I still have the video channel. So I go down to the library. And I had a group. I had some chicks, a couple chicks in there. I was hoping maybe find my next wife that's a trader, maybe too. And no charge, I didn't charge anybody. And I actually had the scripts printed out, dude, on colored paper. So I had limit orders and market orders. And I had a couple USB drives with me, a couple cheap flash drives I bought on Amazon. They looked like keys. 1 gig. They were so cheap, some of them didn't work. And I traded. And I waited for the market to open in Australia. I knew the news was coming out. And I had these double clicks, and I launched them. And the markets, and I was projecting my master computer's on the screen projecting the trade. Market drops down, fills the ticket, market retraces, cashed out. I mean, like, $20. I said, see? And I thought people were going to go, that's fucking amazing. And people are like, see what? So I got to explain to them what I was doing. And one guy was from Europe. I'll never forget. He was from Europe. He was a preacher. And when the whole thing was over, he had his arms folded. And I was just going on like I am now. And I said, am I boring you? And he goes, no, I'm listening. And I said, where are you from? He goes, I'm from, Denmark or something. He was a preacher. But his European mindset was like, no, I'm listening. He goes, I'm really interested. I mean, he understood what I was saying. Americans, no offense, man. They're redneck. They're morons. They're morons there. I said it. These European people, they think pretty fucking deep. I don't know, maybe because they've been bombed lately. They really think about it, I mean, you don't hear stories, all these old, philosophers and stuff. They had a rough life. And maybe there's wisdom there because, he's just like, but then as things would happen, I had one guy in the group that wanted to exploit me. And he said, oh, you ever heard of Kernex? It's called Kernex, where you could have this MT4 would mirror the trading. You could just, oh, this guy's a good trader. I'll just mirror his trades. And you're a couple milliseconds behind him. The platform is spitting out trades to your platform. And I thought, okay, maybe. But then I ended up, so I only did a couple of those things. And then people thought I was nuts. And why are you doing this? And they were suspicious. Then I went to this, it was called Oh, Investors Business Daily. It's a meetup group, huge. Dude, there's like 200 people in a room. This guy up on stage talking about PE ratios, and he had a chart up there of some stock, and apparently it had bad news, and it has a big spike down on there. I mean, fuck, the spike was nuts, dude. And I said to the guy, I raised my hand. I said, yeah, I got a question. What do you think if I placed a buy limit down there, and just hey, listen, you like the stock? Why don't you just put a fucking forever pending? And he goes, that's a good idea. And some old lady stood up and said, hey, why don't you get up and speak? And I said, I don't really want to take over the whole thing, but I hope somebody in the crowd was like going, yeah, what if I did do that? You like the stock, don't you? Would you buy it if it was worth $10? Well, fucking. And my analogy was, oh, you like Mini Coopers, do you? What if you just say, call the dealership and go, here's $5,000 if you get a Mini Cooper here. Just take it aside, and plot $5,000 on 10 dealerships in the United States. You're a Mini Cooper fucking junkie. You have a Mini Cooper repair shop. You specialize in tweaked out Mini Coopers. Yeah, you just pepper the whole fucking. You take $50,000, like a margin account. You stick it in the fucking. You tell the broker, listen, right here. You don't have to walk any further. It's right here in the drawer. Cash as soon as you see a Mini Cooper. What's that?
You like it if you like it at 10.
Yeah.
You're gonna absolutely love it at
absolutely
3.
That's stock traders mindset. I used to trade penny stocks. I'll never forget.
That too for a while. I wasn't very good at it. I only hit one good lick.
Yeah, that's what I did. I hit this one good lick. It was so funny. It was called Beacon Power. This is part of Obama's scametry, but some, I don't know if these are real companies, but this is the concept. You take a flywheel and you spin it really fast underground. You put it 10 feet underground. Big flywheel, big fucker, heavy momentum. Keep it spinning. Power goes off. There's magnets on this thing. It becomes a power generator because the momentum is going to keep it. It'll run for maybe a week before it runs out of gas. The bearings are very slippery. It's called Beacon Power. It's trading for opened at $8 a share. I think the American Stock Exchange or something. And it walks down. It's down about $1.30. I'm looking at it. I got a charting program. And I'm like, I think I'm going to buy about, 1,000 shares. And 2,000 shares. So cheap. A lot of leverage in my opinion. Where's it going to go? Zero. And the grid goes down. If you saw the pattern on this, you'd say, wow, it's setting up for an explosion. On the weeklies, on the dailies, everything was coming together. The grid goes down on a Thursday. I think because it was so hot in the summer. A lot of people are doing shit I think the hair salons took it down, actually. A lot of chicks go to the hair salon on Thursday afternoon to get their hair ready. Gonna go out and party. And it starts in New York. And the markets close, actually. When the markets reopen, this fucker's up $4 a share because it's an energy company. And it was a green energy company. And I'm like, shit, fuck. And I think it went to $8. I probably sold half of it position or something, but that was so funny. And that's the only winner, the biggest winner I ever had. And it was so funny because a fundamental trade, just so happened I be in this energy stock when the markets, when the grid went down, and then everybody shit their pants about the grid. But I don't even know if Beacon Power is still around. Its symbol is BCON. And
check it. Hold on.
Yeah, BCON. So Beacon Power, and I think that was a scametry, but maybe it turned into a real company. A lot of these things, hey, listen, the band sucked in the beginning, and then they got a better drummer.
Hey man, they're $10.
$10 it's still a real thing. So it's a flywheel technology. Maybe it's a real company. What the fuck?
Yeah, no. The closing price was $10.07 today, but the volume is just dog shit.
Yeah, I mean it's probably 3 people own it. I mean I don't know if the whole history's there, but like I said, it started opened at $8 a share, walked down to like $1.30, exploded when the grid went down in what was that? Fucking years ago. See, they're probably getting old like this, dude. You just can't even. It seems like yesterday, all these trades. I'm able to remember them because they're memorable trades. It's like really high drama, and you're just like I said. That other trade I was telling you, the bond market trade. Those two stand out in my mind as being just. And the silver trade, I thought, man, look at this fucking Sunday night. So silver closes at like $55 an ounce on Friday, and I'm like, holy shit. And where's it going to open? I think it spiked to like 68 for a nanosecond. And then it just... The other insane trade was for people. I met a guy... I paid for these seminars I went to. This guy comes into the seminar. His name is... oh gosh, I can't remember his name. Total nerd. I had lunch with him. Curious, this guy's a multi-millionaire from trading. Tom Basso. And he was invited in by Tharp, this Van Tharp. And him and his wife had traded silver and made a ton of fucking money. And then the market backed up on him. He also was in the crude oil trade during Desert Storm. And he was a futures trader. He's in crude oil, $40 a barrel. And he said he was shaving in the morning. Him and his wife were like, yeah, this is kind of, don't forget there was a limit of $40 a barrel. It's so funny. The markets had limits like that. And we knew January 16th there was going to be, it was just like a complete obvious setup that was going to spike. But then people started to buy into it and got killed because it came back to $10 a barrel. And that's when he said, I will never be in a volatile situation. So he became a volatility hawk and was able to build a fortune trading like, I guess I could say, a white man, civilized, respecting the never trade when it's psychotically volatile, and just making 2%, but on big positions. He became a very conservative trader. But I guess he made his name, in these high risk trades back then. And a lot of this stuff, there's one book I bought starts off with market profile or something. Starts off with in memory of this guy that committed suicide in a bond trade he was in. I think maybe actually a Mark Douglas book. I thought, yeah, he get pretty wrapped up in these markets. And I thought, you can get so mentally. But some of that comes from the movies people have seen trading places and shit like that.
And I really do think FX is pretty predictable. And
well, the nice thing is that cycle, you got the 9:30 bookends, 9:30 to 9:30, 9:30 U.S. markets, 9:30 Japanese market, and
dude,
literally just range. Dump shit ranges.
I fire up my futures account at like 6:30 my time, or just a little bit before, right before the markets open. And like I was telling you, man, I don't necessarily want to ever be in a trade. I want to figure out a reason not to be in one, but I need to be in one because, well, I need to make money. This is what I do. And I try to make, my daily paid money off my futures account literally within the first 15, 20 minutes. I'll take like an NQ position, make a couple of $300-400, and I'm in and I get the fuck out, and then I get right back to FX.
Yeah, I mean FX is like it is kind of like
because the only reason I do that is because I feel like I've got a better handle on what the forex market is gonna do. That's all.
Yeah. Look at this back test I did here. This thing, I kind of killed it here. I don't know, just lucky. But on the 15, we hit $140,000 from 10 grand here. And
nice.
Yeah, so we did that by getting in 10 pips apart now. Very aggressive bot, very aggressive. all the way to 50 pips deep at 4 hours standard lot. Only trades during from 5 a.m. to about night, about that's 6 hours after 5 a.m., whatever that is. I'm not good. I have to look at a real clock. Wait, let me get I need an analog clock. I can't think. I have no math skill. I just look. I count it off here. So 10 o'clock. By 10 o'clock, it's done trading. I'd say that's the hot spot. 5 a.m. to 10 o'clock. That's 5 hours. 6 hours. I'm trading till 11 a.m. If I cut back, only let it trade till 10 instead of 11. We'll take 1 hour off the robot. So this is definitely the thing because, middle of the night, it's noise. Most of the profound moves are going to start, I'd say, at 5 a.m. Everything's really coming in there.
I used to work London quite a bit, and it was a little bit of a pain in the ass because I got to be up
Right.
all night.
I suppose I would.
If I want, go ahead.
I would have a London bot too, but would have probably tighter. It's not as volatile, right? Tighter tickets or tighter stops.
It seems like nothing really happens until 2 o'clock in the morning here, 5 o'clock your time. And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, why the fuck am I burning the wick on both ends trying to
Yeah.
do London?
Right. I guess my fear of missing out makes me want to try to estimate a couple trades there, but inevitably, it seems like the most drama is going to be U.S. markets opening. The reshuffling of the deck at 6 a.m., 5:30, 6:30. A lot of pounding down. I'd love the robot to pick up that, snag those spikes, and then just dump it or trail the stop as it leaves the station in either direction. If it builds a short, I do have a bias in this bot because I don't want it to trade hedges necessarily because now it's going to overtrade. I do want it to be triggered by a particular oscillator that I know of that I would never be able to trade. So the people like no nonsense, what they're saying is that, okay, I built this indicator system. But what I'm saying is that I've got 20 trade blocks that have 20 indicators that will just do something I'd never want to visually monitor. It's just going to say, there's the criteria, do it. And just have a machine. Whereas no nonsense saying, oh, let me see, let me look at my charts. Like, that's the other thing about ICT that cracked me up. One time he had this video he did where he's like, I'm going to open my journal, look at my picture. I get it. It's like a Zen thing. But when it comes down to it, trading to make money involves execution. You got to trade. You can't not trade. You got to take the drawdown or whatever it takes.
Dude, there's some mornings when I get up, I just don't have the moxie to even pull the trigger. Maybe I got in heavy the day before and I had a really great win for the day, and it cleared what I normally would make in a week. That's kind of what happened most of this week. And I just got up and, I just decided to throw a bank of tickets in there. And instead of getting up early, I slept in and, everything worked out as planned. So
yeah,
really
it seems like,
that,
but it doesn't seem like, every time you think you missed the move, it turns out that fucking A, you could probably just throw some limits in and get picked up on any kind of vibration. That's like if you really want to buy it and you're not in yet, it's always safer to just say, okay, let me put some short-term orders beneath it and let me just see what And we picked up on something here, and then it seems like that's always the safer approach. You know, because then I don't feel like I feel like yeah, this is real trading. Real trading, sometimes it's just is bad. It's just classically you have to just put your tickets in there.
I let the bias thing pretty much go. I mean, even though I think there's a general direction on price, but anything could happen at any given point.
Oh God, yeah,
And sometimes you just have to be able to shift
yeah,
with, the wave that's coming in.
right. Yeah, I mean
And
that's the thing. If it's a tactical thing. So if I have those, I'm always kind of anxious. I want to get to that script. Oh, I know exactly the script I want to drop now in front of the market. But I've been double clicks that, or I'll drop a grid. That's yeah. Certainly, you can see it coming. Like yeah, this is definitely a possibility. Just
I've
for the
seen
fun of it.
Asia rip. I've seen Asia rip 200 one way and come right the fuck back down to the
Oh my
opening
God.
price.
Yeah, you have to
You
ask
know,
yourself. Well, to me, it I think that's the one thing that people are missing about forex is that it's a forex exchange. So there's buyers and sellers. There's as many buyers and sellers. It's a real taffy pull. I don't think people think trend. That's the one big. I think the biggest detriment is trend, and 80% of the market is exchange trading. It's
yeah,
completely back to the starting gate. It's literally circular bullshit range trading. It's you just wonder, you think it doesn't make sense when you watch the market. You go, well, I don't get it. They don't like it. They don't like it either way. They don't like it regardless. No matter what. It's so funny.
I'm not a great trader, but
Oof.
I'm good enough to make a few bucks, and
That's all you need. I mean,
that's
no, I
it.
can I can net I can canvas an area. And like I said, the best trading I'm ever going to do is on pure limits. I always say when um, so the comments on the limits, I did write comments on my scripts. So did that the first time. And I look at my comments after when I get filled and I see I got filled in a lot of limits and I notice I'm making more money. I notice I'm up immediately. I'm already up and out. Um, Market orders to me are almost impossible to be. I'll forget what I said. Like so, Thursday night I'm in the yen and I see it start to take off. Right, it goes down and it makes a new low. So it does its range establishment in Asia, and I'm like, oh my, this thing is gonna. I'm looking at two brokers' tick charts, and I stare at the tick chart out of this ECN broker who has basically that's the Hugo, and I have another account, and I'm staring at the tick chart, and I am staring at every little fucking pipette. So this is a. It's hard to believe there's 100 price levels in a 10 pip range, but there is. And I just watched that, and I'm like, yep. And I'm watching the clock, and I'm like, in 5 minutes, I'm gonna pull the trigger. And then I can just see it. It's got quite a character to it. You see inching up, you see little zigzags, and it's very subtle, and then pop, right as soon as the top of the hour. So there was an explosion there. I just had to take the 30 pips and get out. Part of me thinks, oh, it's going to be a big move. No, it never gets out of the box. It's like if you look at the 4 hour yen, it's a tragic, it's a quixotic nightmare, It's a windmill going after windmills. There's nothing there, mirage after mirage. It never breaks out. But there's so much money to be made. It's a 100 pip trap of consolidation. Someday it's gonna, when it leaves that consolidation, it's gonna move so fucking far, so fucking hard. I usually don't like to jump on that train so much because I feel it's gonna back up on me. It's only because of
When you're like when you don't really want to trade, like let's say you're not feeling it for the day or whatever. I've always told the people that kind of, that I'm not teaching anybody. I'm just kind of like instructing them on the basics of trading. I always tell them, if you're not feeling good about it, and you can identify that you're in a range on any pair, why don't you just put buy tickets at the bottom of the previous day's candle and put sell limits at the previous day high? And it seems to be working, quite good for a couple buddies of mine that, for some of the Kiwi pairs, it's a good strategy. A lot of times it doesn't get filled, it'll fuck around for a couple days and then.
Oh yeah, right. No, I mean that's a very disciplined situation. I look back at a lot of the charts, because I'm so focused on, getting the most that window entry in a range, probably a 20 pip range. I have to be a 50 pip range or 10, 20 pip range, but with people that are sitting right in that precise range, and then they may not get filled, right? They're so right to the half a pip. But I guess it teaches people that you only missed it by a few pips, but you totally had the right concept. And of course, setting that take profit on something right away. So also having more than one ticket. And when I first was doing the videos where I had like, oh my God, 80 tickets below, people would say, how do you manage all those tickets? And I said, well, they actually manage themselves because they already got stops and take profits. It's just about putting them in and then sit back, and maybe you do take profits before the target's hit. Because what that guy was on the call last time, you're probably not going to have the best stop and take profit, but you're getting in where you're going to get in. Those ratios are, the tighter they are, the probability goes down that you'll make money. Which is counterintuitive. People think, well, better ratios, yeah, but if they just nicked the wick and now they just took out your 10 pip stops, they were so tight you missed the whole fucking move because there was one last capitulation in the market that you would have picked up on another cluster of limits. You have to be more clever than the market. You do have to be clever. You can't be a complete bozo. And you can't just say buy low, sell high, even though that is true conceptually. But certainly the art of it is getting that slot, that deep, lonely wick. So you see, oh, look at that fucking island there. Man, if they take that out. You're right on the edge of the abyss. To watch the market flirt with the abyss and then reverse and rip the other way, you're like, fuck. And I've babysat the market in those windows and go, yeah, look at that. Look at the character of that tick chart. So I'm really pretty much loving the tick chart for this kind of breadth of the market and structurally where we're at, And but I got nothing else to do, My wife's buried out back. What are you gonna do? This is why I'm sitting here at 10 o'clock Friday night, because it's just too much fun testing the robots and.
Oh no, that's cool, man. I'm glad you're on. Maybe some people.
I don't know. I got 5 people in the street. I thought there was somebody. So we had that guy that was drunk the other night. Let's see how many people are watching. That's only 3 people watching. Yes, very narrow. So you, me, and YouTube is watching. But no, I don't care. Some people are watching the stream. The other stream never posted. I don't know. I looked at it. It said process. It was 23 hours, and my computer crashed because I accidentally unplugged it. But
I noticed
and I lost my voice. What's that?
You had a 23-hour stream, man. I was like, God damn. I woke
yeah,
up
and
this morning and it was still on.
Oh, did it post? No, so I
Yeah.
Oh, it finally posted. I'm surprised they didn't. There was a lot of vulgarity and a lot of risque shit. I mean, it's said a lot of crazy stuff, and I never know if that's going to work or are they going to sue me later. I've had to come back, like some of the streams I did. I had rain, or I had like just nature sounds in the background, and not realizing that the robots are very good at identifying sonics. So I had a couple of copyright infringements because the rain and the storm that I had running in the background was copyrighted by somebody that they posted. So I was just playing their YouTube rain in the background, and I didn't know
Throw
that
your
was.
shit on, man.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. No, I had my piano plugged in earlier. I have this. I downloaded an immense amount of software. Oh my God! Native Instruments. You know, they suck me in. I bought about $1,000 worth of samples.
Don't you like ever get some condenser mics and like record your jam sessions ever?
Yeah, I mean we have a channel. I could post a link in the channel here. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
I'll sub it. I'll listen to it.
well, yeah. So it's kind of it's a little bit of everything. Lately, we went digital. So our drummer died, and so we moved the channel to the basement of the other guy's house, the bass player's house. So we're just a three-piece now, and so the guitarist we have is quite the shredder. He's a very sophisticated shredder, and I'm playing guitar. I'm playing drums, or I'm playing keyboards, or I used to play guitar with him, but the drummer died. So we have a young bass player, so a very young bass player, and so we tried to do improv with no script and just feel it out. We don't play covers. We wrote some songs. When we had the drummer, we actually wrote real songs. But it's funny how you want to do that. You know, your part of your brain wants to do something official. But for the most part, it's just free form, and that way there's no rules. More chance to have something bizarre happen.
Dude, the best songs that I've ever, well, all the guys that I've worked with out here on the West Coast um, have just started with a riff.
Yeah.
And you know, and usually like when I wake up, I've got a line, I've got a running line going through my head, and I'll just kind of hum it into like this old school tape player from the 80s. Remember those Stonies that you could put a tape in? It's not, it kind of looks like a Walkman, but you can kind of just click it, and then you know you can hum it out, and then I'll
Yeah, like a Panasonic or a
yeah, it's one of
mono
those.
4-inch Panasonic mono. Yeah, I used to have
Yeah,
that.
those chrome tapes. I still have them, but
Oh yeah.
it's so old, but it still fucking works. And then I hit playback, and then you know, like I'll have a bass line going through my head, like in the morning, like you know, doing
Wow.
octave jumps and boogie downs and run ups, and then
Wow.
I'll just get on the bass and play it, and
Yeah, the
I'll
bass is a
record it that way.
workout.
Oh no, no, the bass is easy, but
When I was a kid, I was
yeah, and then
playing.
you just bring that to the you just literally like, hey, we're
Oh, just
writing a
bring
new
it in with
new
you. Yeah.
little jam. Yeah, and then they'll listen to it, and then they'll be like, oh, okay, here's this part, here's that part. You know, and I've recorded like
Yeah, you
40
got nice
parts.
simple
Yeah.
parts, huh? Yeah, it's a nice.
Oh no,
It really is a quick and dirty device. You know, I always like the acoustic guitar for that reason because I always had an acoustic guitar near my couch because you just pick it up and play it. You don't have to plug it in. You don't have to tune it. I mean, you tune it, right? That's it. But you don't have all the things, the settings, the verb, how much. Just pick, and I played more guitar that way because I could just instant
I've still got
access.
mine. I've got mine sitting right here. I'm looking right at it. You know, it is a good way to write music, but you know, like, and sometimes the guitar player will do that too. Like he's like, "Oh, check this out," you know, some really strange kind of shit, you know, and you just put it together, you know, and then like if it just falls apart, you just stop it and then you rework it and then rework it, you know, and within an hour, you got yourself a pretty goddamn good jam song, or you know whatever, and then the Vokes guy will come in, and we have a couple vocalists. They'll come in and they'll just be like, "Oh, that's pretty cool, and then he'll just start singing some bullshit over it. And then he'll just sit down, write some lyrics, and
Wow.
then pretty soon, 2 or 3 hours later, you got yourself a studio song. And that's a
Wow.
great way to it's a great way to just write. I mean, and then overall the consensus, if somebody, if everybody likes it, we'll keep it. Or if the drummer, man, that just sounds cheeseball, or that sounds too poppy, or that sounds whatever. Great, we'll just get rid of it. Who cares? But it's a good way to write. The guys that I play with are all studio musicians, and they sometimes get hired to do catalog work. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but they'll, they'll write a bunch of music for some of the guys down at like Capitol, or like when Geffen was real big back in the day, and they'll pick up catalog work, and then the singer songwriters will come in and they'll pick up songs that they like out of a catalog to go add to their possible next recording, or
What do you mean, just like old
stuff like
cover
that.
songs with catalog covers? Or what's a catalog?
No, they're just catalog originals. And what the
What do you
singer
mean? You mean it's just like
songwriters,
a library? When you say catalog, like here's 10 songs, you want to play one of them? Like published songs?
yeah, dude, like the singer songwriter, like Faith Hill will come in, or her husband, or some of the country rock
Oh, so
people,
they're
or
saying that
even
the songwriters have catalogs and they're going to just pick some guy who wrote this song
yeah,
and we're going to sing his
yeah,
song.
like and they'll literally take that song, and then they'll do a
So
direct pay out to the,
these guys recorded the demo of it, or they're literally going to just jam with her.
yeah, yeah, they have.
Oh.
No, usually all of the singer songwriters in the country, and the high ticket
Hmm.
people that go around, and I'm not too
Oh,
familiar with it.
yeah.
I just play with these guys, but from all I know is that they'll go into a studio, right? And usually the studio time that they put in is free, because it's the recording studio that's picking up, all of their catalog music. They'll write a bunch of songs, they'll go in, record it. They will not put any vocals to it, and they'll just keep building on this catalog, and they're kind of like a house band, and each record company has numerous house bands, and so they'll play rock or
Mm.
blues or Motown. They'll do an onslaught of different types of genres, and they just keep adding
Wow.
to their they'll keep adding to their catalog. And then, if a singer songwriter that's really established, they'll come in and listen to things, or, oh, I really like this band, or, oh, I really like this song
Wow.
from that house. They'll pay the members off, and just get rights to the music, and they get paid pretty good sometimes when they get
Hmm.
picked up.
Jeez. Yeah, that sounds like a wow. Yeah, I
It's a lot
just
of work.
man, I wanted to do that, but yeah, it's those windows of opportunity.
I mean, they do
You're
okay.
known
I
for
mean, they're
that.
not killing it or anything. They're not like multimillionaires from it, but they'll get a 200K payday. And let's say there's three or four of them that put in. They'll chop up 50K, and then hopefully somebody will pick up something next year or 6 months from now, that type of thing. But they're constantly playing, constantly gigging, and constantly teaching. That's all they do is music.
Oh yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I got a friend of mine that plays in this wedding band. Real good guitarist from when I was a kid. Very professional. Kind of just has the whole look, and he's that guy. And the people he plays with, the brass section, these guys are teachers at universities. But man, when they get together, because the brass players are kind of hard to like. Who does that,
Oh
right?
my
But
God,
professors.
if you can get if you can get a horn section of like a horn pyramid, I've been in a couple of bands that had the standard trombone, sax, and maybe like a trumpet. If you could find one of those, doing punchy type of, uh, I don't even
Yeah,
know, like maybe said the 70, they do punch fills in between,
yeah,
like your chord. And
yeah. Just the
that
accents,
is,
just to give you that 3D situation. Got your
oh, it's
ribbon,
killer, man.
put some ribbon mics on your horns because they can take the dynamic punishment. Yeah, that's really
Right.
that is definitely the Steely Dan thing. Couple brass stabs in there, give you the classy edge.
I love it, man. I love playing music, but it really hasn't done much for me in the financial world.
No, that's one thing I
It
say for me. It's a pure hobby at this point. It's certainly fun messing around with these. I just put on. I just installed this tune track that has this Superior drummer in here. And Superior Drummer, just the core set is 250 gig, but that includes so it's like 50 gig per module, and you have like Atmos. You've got room mics, 50 gig of room mic, 50 gig of overhead. It's nuts. But like it sounds so good. The only problem is the articulation. You have to tell the robot, you're in Robotville again. You have to say, oh, look, you got to hit the you really have to stack the snares, get different articulation depths. But it can be fun. I mean, it can really
sounds like
randomize
a lot
the
of
velocity a
programming.
little bit. What's that?
Sounds like a lot of programming.
Oh my God. I thought I was going to kill myself. I'm running an Ableton and running Native Instruments. Native Instruments has synthetic instruments. I mean, instruments that are really. Plus, I have a piano sample that sounds pretty fucking good. I mean, I was kind of impressed. Um, Plus, I can put, like you can just build your own instruments, which is pretty cool in a digital world. So for me, it's kind of bizarre because I'm used to playing guitar. But when I was a kid,
Yeah,
everybody would play guitar when I was a kid. So I got a job. I got a gig in Ann Arbor playing bass guitar. I had a Kramer aluminum neck, and I played that bass till I learned I could play Stanley Clark School Days. And then I started trying to get a gig, and couldn't get a gig. But I learned how to play bass, and later on we had a cover band. We played a couple originals, and that
dude,
was
I did a
sweet.
wedding band. I believe it or not, I did a wedding band for 1 year, and it was just we were kind of really degenerate musicians at the
Will you
point,
drink some
like
beer?
no, just we like all of us were in like bad financial situations, and we were gigging and we were trying to make something happen and get back into the we recorded and we sent off a bunch of stuff to Roadrunner and different labels, and we were trying to get signed, and it's just shit was just going south, man, for all of us. And I was like, we have a tight fucking band right now. Let's just deviate course for a little while. Let's go to Goodwill. Let's go get some decent looking outfits and like start a wedding band. And they all of the guys looked at me, and dude, they almost started throwing shit at me. And I was like, I really had to sell them on this idea of a wedding band, and it was literally coming out of March going into like April, like 20 years ago. And they were like, "What the fuck are you talking about, man?" And I said, "Dude, listen, just listen. We're going to get 3 hours of play material. Okay. We're going to do top 40. We're going to do the Mustang Sally. We're going to do Cool in the Gang. We're
Mustang
going to do,
Sally. Oh my God.
dude, we're going to just do the most bubblegum bullshit. Okay. And just play these songs for 3 hours. We got 90 minutes. Take a break. Go maybe have a beer at the bar. Go do another 90 minutes, watch everybody shake their ass and the little, and then we had a number of songs like we had a Frank Sinatra song, we had a Dean Martin song for the
Wow.
dance, the love song with
Oh
the
my
bride and the
God.
groom, the dad and the daughter, and so we had these little, slow dance things that we did kind of toward the end of the first set, and they were just like, "Fuck you, man. That is so stupid." And I'm like, "Watch what happens, guys." So we put it together, and I was like, "We're gonna get 5 songs a day tight. We're gonna work on this shit for 2 weeks, and then we're just gonna start layering each song in for 2 weeks." So we had jam sessions for 6 to 7, 8 hours every night for 2 weeks until we got everything perfect. And dude, the very first show that we did, I charged $4,500 for our first wedding gig, and they were guys out of San Francisco that rented a winery up in the Tahoe area. So we show up at this gig. We played for 3 hours. They even tipped us another grand. We had 5,500, and they just like all of the guys just looked at me and they were just completely astounded that that happened, and I'm like, "You guys shut the fuck up. Don't ever question me again." But anyway, yeah, no, those wedding gigs are unreal. So we ended up doing, I think, 15 weddings, and we got referrals
Oh
to
my
other
God.
weddings just off of that first one, and we ended up having a great come up for that season, and everybody was put on track back financially. So yeah, don't ever shit on an idea ever, that works.
Yeah, well, it's a formula that's classic. You just put together the greatest, the classic stuff. People, it's a wedding, and you know what page they're on. You know what they're looking for. It's not that, it's not a brain teaser. Shouldn't be. That they're gonna want to have, the old slow dance. You got to have the ballad. You got to have the checklist, man. But it's certainly a formula. It's gonna work, man. People are simple. They're not looking for some complicated thing.
Dude, if you and we were just a really tight band,
Yeah,
super
certainly
tight. And
tightness. I mean, like that's the one thing. If I go see a new band, if they're tight, I'm like, yeah, that's good too. But if they're not,
even if it's simple music, man, even if it's a 1-3-4 band, with a structure of 3 chords and going into the same structure in reverse on the second song, it's like, if you're tight and it sounds okay, well, that's not a bad band and that's not a bad song. And so, I'm kind of on that same page with you.
yeah. I mean, some people say things about. I was kind of surprised, because I guess I prejudge and music prejudice. If you tell me it's a rap band, I'm like, oh, let me see. Um, or if you tell me it's a metal band, I'm like, dude, I can't really do metal. It's just so many fucking notes. I got it. You can play. I'm not into
Yeah,
technical
like all your
performances.
gent music and
Yeah, I mean, actually, I think the turning point for me was Van Morrison. When I heard that, I said, okay, now we're talking fucking music. Because he ad libs. If you listen to his recordings, he'll just be like, "Hey, yeah." I mean, he's just so fucking natural. He's not forcing anything. But if you have to play on a grid, like I listened to an interview with these metal players, like, yeah, we had to learn that off the fucking computer. We wrote it on the grid, and then we couldn't perform it like the way it sounded, but I can't take it. I'm trying to be grid free. Here's my grand piano with a. Of course, there's not enough RAM to play this sample. It's going to crackle on me.
Yeah.
But this is a, it's not a Bolzendorf. I used to have a sample that was. But this is a fake piano. But the nice thing about samples on pianos, they sound real because it only hits in the same place, where drums, you're hitting in a different part of the head. Hammers always hitting the string the same. It's a very easy thing to sample and sound realistic.
And when I got my first Yamaha, that DX7, do you remember that model?
Oh god, yeah.
Holy shit, man! That was I thought I was in heaven.
Yeah, the tine sound in there. I actually had the rack mount version. It was like a TX81Z, and it could do a voice. And I also had the Roland. Yeah, just these rack mount synths, man. I had a Super Jax 10. Wow, that thing was so fat. 24 dB analog. If you put it in unison mode, you could only hit 3 notes, but it ganged up all 12 oscillators. It sounded fat as fuck. Like it just tear down the house. To this day, an analog synth, there's a guy on YouTube who's using this program that he wrote called Scalar. And Scalar is a MIDI plugin that's very elaborate, very for composing. It's just very, and these guys are always updating it. He's sitting in front of his fucking YouTube channel. He's saying, okay, in Scalar, you can come in here and send inside of Ableton, you can send MIDI messages out to hardware MIDI, 5-pin DIN. So behind him, unbeknownst to me, this guy starts to jam. And he's playing his MIDI controller. It's sending MIDI out to about 8 synths behind him. So he starts to play back this MIDI file. He walks over to the fucking a real R2600, and he starts to fucking change the envelope. Wow. And I actually had one of these when a very long time ago. Mellotron, if you remember, Mellotron came out with a MIDI, a 4-channel digital player. 4 in, 4 out at 600 pulses per. This is the most sophisticated MIDI recorder. 4 people could jam MIDI into this thing. I was using a 286 computer with this thing. A 5.5 inch floppy. And I talked to the people at Mellotron. The program was called Spirit. It cost me like $400 or something. It's 4 ports in and out. You couldn't crash it. And you came up and you just saw on a green screen, 80 characters. Okay, here's your ports. Okay, and so he's playing back this thing and he's adjusting this synths, and I thought, wow, it's just incredible. And did you ever see the guy? The famous soundtrack guy. He's got a bunch of fucking. He wrote some. Everybody's writing plugins now, so he wrote a plugin with a Moog about a Moog, and he was showing how he made the plugin. And these old Moog synths, they still are the best fucking sounding thing, As much as people try to make other things, they just don't have the balls, That's what people are going back to, tape compression and all that. I guess people are so bored now they're going back to cassettes. I still got my CDs. I still got some imported CDs made in Japan, extra tracks. I actually have some Mobile Fidelity CDs remastered on gold-plated 24-karat gold Mobile Fidelity. So I have Jeff Beck wired, Jeff Beck blow by blow. Dynamic range. I got Jethro Tull, thick as a brick, remastered on CD. You blow your speakers out. You're not careful. It's like extended dynamic range, which not a big fan. I actually compress most stuff. I use the compressor on my earbuds on my phone. I found a nice limiter and EQ program just to dial it in. I just can't take that harsh mid-range. If I hear 1K, it just kills me. Maybe I'm hypersensitive after years of punishment from bad gear or bad speakers, and that mid-range spike just kills me. It's got to be scooped out. I need the smiley face EQ on everything I own. I need the loudness button
I
on.
just run. I run all my bass. My mids are really low, and my treble is pretty high. I just run. I'm more bass heavy. When
Yeah,
I'm
I do like the
playing,
bass, the subwoofer. The subwoofer's the deal. I was
I like the bass to come through because my whole life I've been playing in, through the late 80s and 90s, most rock music or whatever coming out of the 70s was all geared toward guitar playing. How fast can you play? And then as time elapsed, you start listening to these bands that you liked, and you could kind of just start seeing that, these masterings that they would do, they would start turning the bass down to like you might as well not even have a player. The essence of bass is to me is to follow your drummer, and you're like the core, you're the really tight wrapped, you know two piece, and you're following. A lot of times in my playing, you're supposed to follow the kick, and then do your fills a little bit around that. And so as the 90s kind of start going into the 2000s, the bass is now coming back, and the tone is coming back, and you know I just like a full bodied sound, man. I don't like tinny mid and highs. I can't stand it.
Yeah, I had a 5-string bass, a couple 5-string basses. I love that low B. I just had a Warwick.
Yeah.
The Warwick's got the best growl to it, man. God, something about it. And neck through. And
Yeah, I only play neck throughs now.
a lot of sustain.
Yeah, when you hit it, just keeps going. Uh, well, man, I'm gonna get going.
All right,
I gotta
man.
go next door and grab
Sure.
myself some dinner.
Yeah, go next door and hook up. Yeah. Yeah, thanks for checking in.
Yeah, they got a nice Vietnamese restaurant. I could go over there and grab a
Right.
bowl of soup. Man, they got
Oh,
these.
yeah. No, I like that. Was it pow or something? What do they call that, pow? That
Po
stuff.
pa, whatever
Po,
the
po,
fuck.
pow. Yeah, I
It's
don't know.
good.
No, it's a nice. I like the bowl idea. Like you just have this delicious bowl of fucking the best ingredients. I used to get the red snapper at this Thai restaurant, and I got to the point where I say, "Yeah, I want professional hot, please." It's so hot.
Oh
I
yeah.
cut it with rice, and they walked by my table. They said, "How is it?" And I actually overhit. I was starting to tear up, but I didn't want to lose face, so I said, "No, it's great. It's great." It's kind of
Yeah, they would
I
sound
actually
check.
almost
Like, you want it
hallucinated on the way
medium?
home.
The last time I was there, the cook comes out of the back. He goes, "You want it Mexican? Do you want it medium, or do you want it white boy?" So, yeah, that's
Totally milk toast, yeah. Like just totally washed out. Yeah, just the essence, please. Just all right, man. Well, take care.
slice. All
Enjoy
right, man.
the grub fest.
Oh yeah. Hey.
Right.